I watch my father's hands, one thin but steady, strong, building something lasting while the world moved on. He said, son, don't chase what fades away. Build your name in deeds, not what people say. Now I stand where he once stood, trying to do what a good man should. Integrity is all we have, the fire inside our chest. Without it, we are hollow, we are less than our best. I'll make my father proud, I'll raise my children right, stand for what's good and keep my honor inside. This land remembers sweat and song, every brick laid where we belong. I'll teach my son that worth is as good as gold. It's in keeping your word till the day you're old. I've seen the easy path, the silver lies, but truth shines brighter than any disguise. Integrity is all we have, it's the backbone of the soul. Without it, we are lost, no compass, no control. I'll build a better world for those I love and know, with honor in my heart and faith to sow. I don't need fame or flashing lights, just quiet peace on honest nights. Let my children see me, a man of roots, not vanity. Integrity is all we have, the gift that time can't steal, the proof that what we stand for still
Welcome in, guys.
can heal.
Love this song.
Father, I hear you, your words still got
All
my
right.
hand.
Welcome back, my glorious Tater Nation. It's good to have you. It's Thursday, and you know what that means. It's time for Tater Talks Thursdays, where the mics are hot. Or, I'm sorry, the takes are hot. The mics are on. Mics are probably hot too. And the potatoes are fully baked. This is the round table, the open panel. This is where bold ideas meet real conversations. No scripts, no safe little sound bites, no flakes. Just organically grown conversations served fresh. And you know us potatoes, we have lots and lots of eyes, and we like watching all the interesting things that humans do up top. And tonight we're going to be diving into the big questions, sharp disagreements, and maybe even a little bit of uncomfortable truth. But we do it with logic, respect, and willingness to actually listen. So pull up a chair, check your ego at the door, and let's dig in, because this is Tater Talks Thursdays. And of course, before we begin, this program contains open dialogue and unscripted commentary. Guest participants speak for themselves. Their opinions are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the host of the show or this channel. Conversations may include strong language, conversational preceptives, or emotionally charged positions. The purpose of this format is dialogue, not endorsement. We expect all participants to follow platform terms of service and community guidelines. Personal attacks, threats, or calls for harm will result in immediate removal. Viewer discretion is advised with the strong language, of course. All right, so the chat is fairly busy this afternoon, I guess it is. I was going to say this morning because I'm a potato and I don't know what time of the day it is. All right, so I believe Vosh was first. Welcome in, buddy. I appreciate you being first. That's why I pinned you to make sure that I remember that you were first, and I can't highlight it, so I thank you for being here. Homestead, appreciate you. Good to see you. Gamer, good to see you. I know that you'll be in the panel, and so I won't keep you guys waiting for too long here. Prentice, thank you very much for being here and modding. If anybody wants to join the panel, feel free to jump into the vetting room, into my Discord. If you're not part of the Discord, please go to the description below, and the Discord link is there. And hop in there with Apprentice, and he'll be able to vet you. All right. And Barn Diesel, good to see you, man. I appreciate you. I know that we'll be probably in your ear. You're lurking. I appreciate you being here and the engagement when you can. Yeah, Vosh, mate, that's why you got pinned. All right. So let's see. It looks like everybody knew. And I did see something. Let's see. Prentice says, Barn, thanks for being here with us, even though you don't see this, but I made sure that you're going to hear it at least. All right. So I do believe there's a couple of people in and ready to be started off with the panel. And again, if anybody wants to join, feel free to hop into the Discord. All right.
Sitting in the corner.
You guys ready?
We're ready.
All right, guys, we'll just hop over here. And all right, how are we today?
Well, I am pretty
Doing
good.
great.
That's good. Gamer kind of hesitant there. Are you not doing very good there?
Oh, no, I'm doing pretty good.
That's good. That's good. All right, it's good to have you guys. And all right, so do either of you have a topic of the prompts that you'd like to start with?
I am reading them right now.
All right.
I'm here just to help it flow.
Fair enough. So today's topics for the audience is going to be schools allowing students to attend protests should be defunded at least, criminally charged for reckless endangerment, preferably, and potentially even conspiracy to commit murder with the likelihood of the escalations these days. Number 2, there needs to be a clear definition of what is allowable under free speech as far as the topic of the president is concerned. When I was growing up, you wouldn't have dreamed of even private messaging half of what is all over social media now. I was under the impression, as a young and ignorant sprout, mind you, that any hint of violence would be a near immediate visit from the men who talk to sleeves, if you know what I mean. Number 3 is stolen from Tim Pool, but it is a very good idea, in my humble opinion, slightly reworded to be more serious. A new amendment considering the right to life already established, the right to grow, produce, and collect food/water on private property shall not be infringed. I want to say I've put this out there once before on one of my live streams. Number 4 is consequences for our actions is how we learn. Sometimes those consequences can be mitigated, but when/how often should they be? How severe do the consequences have to be to justify stealing the growth from the one who would receive the lesson? And then just a couple of side topics if we get to them. One is, do you have aphantasia or anidophagia, which is basically you can see things in your mind like pictures, or you just like hear voices and see words, kind of a thing. And then the last one is more serious, is how much does your physicalities affect your perception? Pretty privileged for obvious example, but what, if any, effects would something like color blindness have on your outlook on life? Welcome in, Jay. I appreciate you joining the panel.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to have you. And then it looks like Dave in the chat says, please like and subscribe. Welcome in, Dave. Appreciate you being here. And I don't know if he wants to share anything, but I would like to give a shout out for prayers on Dave's behalf. He's going through a little bit of a struggle. Thank you for being here, guys. All right. So is there anybody on the panel that has anything that they would like to start with? No?
I'd just say start with the first one.
Okay. So the first one being, let me see, where did it go? There it is. Schools allowing students to attend protests should be defunded, at least criminally charged for reckless endangerment, preferably, or potentially even conspiracy to commit unaliving. We'll just use as safe as we can, with the likelihood of escalations of these days. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
I would agree with that. I think schools allowing kids to go to protests is very dangerous, and obviously, as we all could agree, this is most definitely indoctrination of the youth, which is a very large issue in our current school system. I'm sure there's some states worse than others. North Carolina, where I live, I'm not sure if it's known for that, but it has other problems. I do know there's states with worse with political indoctrination of the youth.
Yeah. So what would you
When does
go ahead, Jay?
place that they are gonna for protests? They're supposed to be there for reading, writing, and arithmetic. Why are protests even a thing at schools?
Yeah.
If you're sending a kid to a protest for school, what are you doing? I mean,
Right.
do you want this kid to get hurt? And B, isn't it illegal to take them out of school?
Well,
Right?
especially
No,
if,
it's not illegal to take them out of school. I withdrew my daughter in
Well,
February.
not like that, but taking them away from their right to education for
well,
something as
You're
stupid as a protest.
causing truancy, not removing them for
Right.
homeschool, but like causing truancy. Yeah.
right, yeah, like Homestead, you took your kid, you took your blood, your flesh, your blood, your ownership from that for the day or whatever. But we're talking about them taking them from your like you've given them the responsibility to teach them, and they take them away from teaching them and they send them to the protest, I think is what ODJ was getting at.
Yes.
Well, I have a very skewed point of view because of how I think the entire school system needs to be revamped. They have taken complete advantage
Yeah.
of us, and they do whatever they want with the kids. I have had to make it extremely clear that nobody is allowed to talk to my children by themselves because of all BS that I've had to deal with the schools. And my children, like my son has 2 weeks left and it'll be his last day of public school because
Oh,
I'm over it.
Yeah,
I'm
Good
so
for you.
over it.
yeah. Good for you.
Thank you.
Hey, Mrs. D, welcome in. Appreciate the engagement.
I
Good
would
to
say
see
that's
you.
a pretty good thing to do, is take
Good
kids
to
and
see ya.
homeschool them now. The school system is absolutely broken. There's not much
Mhm.
good that comes from it other than learning around other kids, and at sometimes even that's a bad thing.
Oh, it
Especially
is
when the kids
so
are a
very
terrible
bad.
influence.
They are bad. They are very bad.
Yeah, I don't.
And the kids,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Jay, do you have something?
We homeschool both of our kids for the same reason. We pulled them out because they were coming home with some crazy stuff from the other students. We were getting letters home from the school saying that there was drugs on the playground. And we're talking, when I say playground, we're talking, second and third grade, these kids.
Oh, wow.
And we said, yep, we're done. And we pulled them.
That's wild.
Can I speak my part here? So when I was in the third grade, I went to an online school. I moved from a public school that was quite a mess at the time. I went to an online school. It was amazing, actually. It was really nice. I would have personally preferred be actually taught by my parents in an online school. I think it's just kind of awkward to do everything on a computer. I don't really like it. But it was better than public school was at the time. I had better grades. I was excelling at learning. But then in the 6th grade, when I went to middle school, I was very, very socially behind. That's the downside of such. To be
Well, I
fair,
have
a
an
lot of this,
autistic daughter.
we went
She's
through
already-
COVID during that,
Yes.
but it just does have its downsides. And the new school I'm going to is one of the rare, well, I'd say new. I started going here like 5 years ago now. They have middle school and high school. But it's actually one of the rare ones, I'd say, that's pretty clean. There's really not even any fights or anything that happens. It's not like, well, it's a charter school. So I guess you would expect that. But I just want to say not every school is like that. That doesn't mean the system isn't broken, though, and half the teachers they hire aren't terrible.
Okay. What were you going to say, Homestead?
There's good and bad with everything. I would rather my child be
Good to see you,
socially
Abe.
behind
Good to
than
see you. Thank you very much for the
killed
engagement.
with fentanyl or getting jumped in the bathroom or being committed to the pavilion.
And if anybody
Or
doesn't know,
being
Abe has his own
threatened,
channel
charged
too.
sexual harassment over
I don't know
a
how many
13-year-old
times
joke.
I've actually shouted him out. He needs shout out. He's a good guy.
I can
Check
see
him
that.
out.
I'm just
And
lucky
there's
that I have a
there's ways
decent
to
school
mitigate that as well.
Of course.
No one ever, actually, ironically, people asked if my kids were homeschooled because they were so much better socially adapted. They spoke as adults when they were in junior high. They were able to carry on conversations in a room crowded with strangers and
exactly,
adults
Mrs.
and
D.
not be awkward. And so there are ways to mitigate that. And but the stigma that comes with homeschooling and the social awkwardness, the weirdness, the clothes that don't fit. I mean, those are legitimate stigmas because that happens. But you can fix that.
When I was homeschooled, it took me several years to recover from all that weird stuff. I stood out like a sore thumb for quite some time.
Sure.
I'm like normal kid now. I never really get in trouble. Well, I don't get in trouble for anything violent. And that's just really rare around here, I guess. My school is pretty well kept in that way. But across town from me, there is a public school that is kind of like the ones you guys were talking about. And I think those are just everywhere.
Mrs. D is right
Yeah.
in the chat.
She says, the silliest thing I hear about homeschooled kids is they aren't socialized. They have some of the healthiest relationships. So long as you are proactive in socializing them within homeschooling communities. And again, like I've mentioned before, if there is access to public schooling, then you have access to those extracurriculars through that that public schooling as a homeschooled student still. And so you can still socialize in the public school if you so desire. But again, like Mrs. D's saying, in the homeschooling communities within yourselves, amongst each other, honestly, stay away from the public school in general. But it is possible to socialize them if you don't have a whole lot of community, such as myself.
Our church is a really big community that we participate in, and they're always trying to get together and do stuff. And ever since we've joined this church, homeschooling has not seemed so scary at all.
That's really good.
Okay, I want to say around where. Sorry if I'm talking about myself too much in my
You're
experiences,
fine.
but I do have a lot of
That's
first.
all you have.
Thanks,
experience in
apprentice.
this. Yes,
That's all you have.
That's all you have.
I will say, in a lot of areas, there aren't many of those homeschool groups, especially like smaller cities like that I'm in. There just isn't much of that.
But even if you don't have the groups, doing simple things like when you are, if you go out to eat and you've got your kids with you, have them order their food. It teaches them socially. If they, when the kids had a dentist appointment, we would go up to the counter, and afterwards they would have to make their follow-up, and we would stand there and they would make their follow-up, so that they learned how to do those things. And even though it wasn't necessarily, socialization, it was, because it taught them how to interact with the public in a professional and adult manner. And it's those simple things. So yes, the homeschooling groups and the programs are important, and it gives them the chance to play and have fun and hang out. But you can beat that social awkwardness by just teaching them how to interact with public.
And I agree with you. That's 100% true. I really was. To be fair, when I was homeschooled, I was like 10. I was a bit young for that, I think. But I also had parents that worked. Which,
Gotcha.
if you're going to homeschool your kids, it's kind of hard to work and homeschool kids.
Right, Mrs. D?
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm pretty awkward
Mhm.
myself, and I was only a year
If you want
homeschooled.
to homeschool your kids, have a parent, preferably the mother. I'm not going to get into why. We all understand that, I'm sure. Stay home and teach the kids.
I agree.
Yeah, let's say it louder for the ones in the back, because the women's are the ones that should be staying home because they're the natural nurturers and that's their rightful place. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's not misogynistic to say it. Come on, let's get real, guys.
Mhm.
So how far would you go with it? So there's three different versions of the let me get back to the prompt here, because it says okay, so it says criminally charged for reckless endangerment, preferably. Oh, sorry. Protests should be defunded at least. Criminally charged for reckless endangerment, preferably, or potentially even conspiracy to commit the unaliving, with the likelihood of the escalations these days. So how far would you want to go with it?
Oh, I say put them on the ringer, rake them over the coals.
Let's just go straight to it.
Yeah,
I'm
these are our
completely against
children.
this.
Right?
I'm completely against these protests, but there's a certain point where you might have to make a middle ground. I would like to not have to, but it's just a ridiculous place we live in. If
Isn't that
we
the
were to have
truth,
to make a
apprentice?
middle ground,
Like I said,
we have to at least get
I'm the
parental
weird one.
permission
What do you?
and like a waiver or
Let's
something.
face it, right?
It's just dangerous. We shouldn't have kids anywhere near protests.
Agreed.
Yeah, exactly.
These are our children.
Good to see you,
This is
Mrs.
the
D.
future. They're supposed
I
to be
hope you're still
teaching
viewing.
them
Have a good one.
the
God bless you. Thank you
skills
very much for
on
dropping
how
in.
to get a job, pretty much. They're
Mhm.
not even teaching them how to be okay outside of a job. All they are doing is teaching the bare necessities of how to get a job or go to college.
It's
Which,
sorry.
Not that colleges
no,
are
you're
very
right.
good either.
No, I don't think
Colleges-
so. There's certain things that colleges are good for, but everything that they have is just a scam. It's outrageous, like is crazy. They've indoctrinated my daughter, and all for what? Because she thinks she's gonna be a boss
No.
babe, and she's
Not-
autistic. She thinks she's gonna be a boss babe. She
That
can't
poor
even.
girl.
She's never moving out. Okay,
Right.
she's never moving out, but she's convinced that she could do it.
Yeah, I'm not going to college.
That's
I'm just not.
So I say rake them over the coals.
I
Okay.
might go to a trade school, but I really don't want to do that either.
I 100%
Yeah, college is a waste
support
of
that.
time at this point.
Right. I appreciate you being here, Leia. Do you have anything more to say while you got the floor?
Why, thank you. I was going to say hi. I didn't want to interrupt, though.
You're good.
I actually have an interesting 2 cents about this because I got into a bit of a conversation, a contentious conversation with quite a few of the local Karens in one of their local Facebook groups about this when we had a protest after, I believe, the Preddy incident, and they let some middle schoolers and some high schoolers go to a protest. The parents were not even informed. Not even informed
What
until
the
after it had happened.
fuck, bro?
They let them leave school.
Yeah. See, that's
Sorry, they let them leave school to do.
wrong.
sorry. Go ahead. What were you saying, Leia?
Sorry, the
I don't
kids
have
are going
anything to
crazy.
say.
Sorry.
I'm just amazed that they let that happen.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, 100%. They literally let them leave school and walk like 4 blocks. I think it was like it was a crazy amount, in my opinion, distance. Where like, when
Right.
I drop off my kids, I'm supposed to trust you to keep them there, and you know what I mean.
Right. That's what we were talking about earlier. That's why I was, pressing that basically that idea right there is the fact that, you expect them to be teaching your kids safe in a building that's fairly, especially now, locked down from the outside world. And then you hear them going out to a protest, and are they going outside of just outside the building into the gated yard? No, they're going outside down the road, 4 blocks down. Then you're getting into some serious danger as well as lack of the committed education that you're expecting.
That has to do with the liability issues.
And exactly, right? That then you should be having to sign off on that as a parent. You should have to. That should be law.
That should be a field trip documentation.
Right. Exactly.
That's what I was just thinking. That's exactly
I think
right.
it
And
shouldn't be allowed, but at the very least, a field trip. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I agree. They shouldn't even be allowed. Like, again, we should be what should defunding. So, Homestead, you said rake him over the coals. ODJ, what did you say?
Huh?
There should be a limit. Did you say not necessarily hold them in conspiracy of committing the unaliving, but was that what you were saying? Or
Yeah.
okay, Leia, what position would you like to take on that?
well, I mean, I feel like they should definitely be prosecuted in some way. I actually called for the teachers in Knoxville, near my local town where it happened, to be prosecuted because here's my thing, right? We are all just like bitching about it on Facebook, basically, pardon my French, because nothing happened. However, that protests are wild these days, just generally in the world, like endangered, they get, etc. Add to that the fact that these are, teenagers that are, their hormones are raging, the brains aren't fully developed, they're super, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they make split second decisions,
Right.
without really thinking. Impulsive. That's what I'm looking for. And so, Lord forbid, what would have happened had somebody, brought a weapon? Lord forbid. What conversation would we have been having had, half a dozen kids been injured because of their decisions? The only reason we aren't having these more serious discussions is because, thank God, all the kids were okay. So that's
Right.
wild.
Right. Well, exactly. I mean, even a kid so much as tripping and falling on school grounds is, parents are liable to sue. And where does that come from? The taxpayer's pocket. So you'd start talking about a kid leaving grounds without the parents' permission, and they trip and skin their freaking knee, and you could be looking at, thousands, hundreds of thousands. I don't know. But again, that liability, could have happened, things like that. So,
Exactly. And also, just quick BT dubs, you're also informed immediately if your child is in school. Like, I mean, Alex bumped his head once and I got a phone call within 10 minutes.
right.
So it's wild to me that you're informed in advance.
Right. Yeah. Was that all you had to say on that?
I believe so.
Fair. Jay, did you have anything? What would you vote for? Let's put it that way.
I think they kind of, in all honesty, I think they all kind of dovetail into each other. If, it needs to not be allowed, first and foremost. It needs to be just completely banned. This isn't an acceptable thing to be doing. You can't remove my child without permission, without me signing that permission slip and giving you authorization to remove them from school grounds, period, end of story. Then from there, if they choose to not do that and they choose to not follow that ordinance, I
have a panel. If you want to hop in,
they are getting
you're
defunded.
welcome to hop into
you are
the
taking
review
them to court
or the
for,
vetting room. Bandit.
Attempt to, unalive. Like, they kind of all really dovetail together, but first and foremost, it just needs to not be allowed, period.
Yeah. That's the thing is, should we just defund them as then they happen, or should we prosecute them like they're saying, basically? And if we prosecute them, what?
I think from a government standpoint, they should be defunded immediately. But then from a parental standpoint, then yeah, take them for what they got.
Fair.
Well, why are we paying so many taxes for them to just ruin our children? Right. It makes zero sense.
Right.
Well, and again, it's not like they don't know better. Yeah. Right. This is stuff that they're literally teaching the kids to respect and to obey, and to, the whole point of school is to structure your kids to be able to be a good worker. And then they turn around and undermine their own authority by undermining your authority, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking wild. Hardwire, welcome in, man. And Bandit, I see you on the way, so that's good to see. I appreciate you being in here. What exactly is the topic? They're in the side chat. In the vetting room, there's multiple. Right now, we're talking about if schools should be defunded or basically charged with something if they allow or take their kids to protests. Take your kids, I should say, to protests. All right. So was there anything else on that topic that we wanted to say? I figured we'd all be pretty much in agreement on it, like normal. Gamer, you aren't quite on the exact same page. I guess we're not all in a complete agreement. What would you say would be a reason for not holding them in that conspiracy position?
We allowed it to happen.
Well, but so I do understand kind of what you're saying, but when we send them to school, where I agree with homeschooling, so I kind of see what you're saying, but when we send them to school, we are paying them to hold our kids safe and things like that, and so they turned around and put them in danger without your permission, without you knowing about it.
And they're getting paid a ton of money. May I remind you? Like, it's not $50 a household. It's like $1,000 a household.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Whether they have kids or not.
This is why we just need to completely reform the school system, or we need to abolish it.
Welcome in, Elmo. Appreciate you, boy.
I would prefer not abolish it.
Appreciate the engagement. Hey, Blood Logos, good to see you.
Or maybe we could just cut out the part of our taxes that goes to it if you don't have a kid that goes to the school. It's that simple.
Well, and
I can see downsides of that, though, because it would make taxes more expensive for the others. It really would.
Right.
But then people would be discouraged from going to the public schools, and the system would fall apart.
Well, and
then people would just homeschool.
Well, and that's so. I want to say there was somebody was saying something about the money following the child. Trump is trying to, or has put it into place, where like if you wanted to homeschool your kid, you could do that and use the money that would then be the taxes that they would be getting if they were to be in a public school. From what I understand,
That's a dangerous spot to be in, though, too. That's a dangerous spot to be in.
That's fair.
The state that I used to live in was going to pass that.
Okay.
And a lot of the homeschooling community came together and said, please don't do this, because by that, if you accept the money, that
Then you
is
have to.
taxes and it is technically government money, then they have a say
Shit.
in what you do.
That's a good
And that's
point.
the whole point of homeschooling is to
Homeschooling,
keep them the hell out.
Yeah, that's a good
Thank
point.
you
If
for pointing that
regulated
out.
right,
Yeah,
it would work.
and this is why we have these discussions because, yeah, that's a good point.
Nothing is regulated outside of corruption, though, is what you need to understand, youngin.
Youngin, right? For real. Welcome in, Bandit. Appreciate you joining into the panel. Did you have anything to say on it?
Well, just on the last comment that was given about you want to avoid taxpayer funds going to your homeschool because then they have a say. Well, didn't we all learn that was the same issue with the churches about? I'm drawing a blank on exactly how it went, but the tax
Isn't that
tax
the
free
truth, Dave?
or whatever, like donations, whatever, and then all of a sudden all the churches became 103. What's the designation for
I'm forgetting the numbers, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then so like all the churches, instead of actually preaching what they believe, they have to give like the watered down, the fence setter version of what Christianity is, and now we're reaping the benefit, or I'm using air quotes on that, reaping the whirlwind of what happens when you pay out your beliefs to the highest bidder. That's a bad take, but I think y'all understand where I'm getting with that.
I do.
Yeah, you're good.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's just it. Is if we allow them control over the money, we allow them control, and once they have control, they usually bend it to their will. So that's fair. So definitely defunding, endangerment, preferably, potentially even conspiracy to commit unaliving. So it sounds like everybody's pretty much on the same page, either endangerment or get all the way to the conspiracy. And honestly, I'm conspiracy because, again, they're literally the ones that they're the example. I've mentioned it before with the president of the United States and his comments every so often. I'm not a fan. I'm not going to go against Trump because of the simple fact that he is the better candidate in that particular case. And he's the pilot of the plane, like I've mentioned before, right? But when you're the president of the United States, when you're the boss of the company, when you're the face, you should be holding yourself to a little bit of a higher standard. So if you're the teacher, if you're the school, if you're the administration of education, you should be focused on education, not getting them to push back against any kind of propaganda or pushing any propaganda. Anyway, does anybody else have anything to say on that? We can move to the next prompt.
Nope, I completely agree.
Fair enough. And then Dave puts in the chat, and I appreciate him putting that there. I should probably hit it a little bit more often. If you would be so kind to contribute to Tater Nation, to the channel, to keep us around, to keep this open panel platform going, because honestly, this is pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. There's not many other channels that do this kind of stuff, and they all get heated when they do. So I'd appreciate any help that I can get. Elmo says money should even go to the parents of homeschooled kids if the kid is proficient enough in all subjects. Again, where we do, like, there should be some kind of more support for homeschooling from the government. We want to be careful about how much support we would end up giving them. Hey, Beatrix, welcome in. Appreciate the engagement. Oh, it's Thursday. Yep. Good to see you. Good to see you. You're a real one. For sure. Sorry, go ahead.
Can I
buddy.
play out a reasoning for why, like, the voucher system is a good thing for us?
Sure.
So, all right, your generation, my generation, I don't know the ages of everyone in here, but it's one of those things that, like, when I was growing up, like, the homeschool kids were deemed as, like, the odd kids, you know, the socially unadjusted ones. And it's one of those things that, looking back on it,
I had
that's
a year of
kinda-
homeschooling, so I kind of know.
in certain cases, there may have been some truth to it, but in the grand scheme of things, that was propaganda to us to be like, hey, the cool place to be is in public schools. Now, there's no way to jump straight from the system we have now to, like, getting rid of the Department of Education, going back to the way
That's good to
things
know.
were, like, to anything
know.
that any one of us supports. So the way that you have to do it is in baby steps. So you develop homeschool systems across the country. You support them. You do the tax ID where it's like, all right, your student is going to a homeschool, and so the funds follow them. And it's one of those things that over a period of time, it's one of those things that the local school systems are hurting for funds because everyone wants to be in the homeschool system and not in the BS public school system that isn't getting them
if you'd like to join,
what their
so
dollar is
I think
paying.
you're part of my Discord. It's in the main chat in there somewhere, but it's in the side chat on
For that.
the
and
I'm
then,
all
and
for
then
that.
you go
the
from
vetting
that
room
to
at least, if you'd like to join, or if you'd like to look at least. Yeah, like Dave says, there's a few different prompts there.
I wanted to, like, I feel like it felt on like it. I was just explaining everything that everyone agrees with, but I was like, it's one of those things like you have to do those things in order to get
And
there.
of course,
where
no
everyone's
pressure.
just like,
Nobody's
well,
expected.
we
to
want
join or
this. We're willing to compromise for this. It's like,
yeah, there was.
no. We're not compromising for this. We're doing what the left did for the last 20, 30 years. You take baby steps, you make a gain, and then when you take what little gain you can, and then over time you've made large gains.
Yep. Anybody else on that? Do we want to move on to another prompt? Is there anybody that has any suggestions on a prompt? Newcomers in the chat or in the panel? No? Does everybody know how to get to the prompts on the side chat? Is there anybody that had any questions on that? It also depends upon the permissions sometimes.
Hold on.
You're good.
Let me just test one thing.
I sent
Okay,
a
no, I
screenshot.
can see it. I was just worried about throwing myself out of the panel. Clicking one button. Next thing you know, I'm
right. Yeah.
I eat myself.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Yeah, it does. Blood Logos. It takes years, and that one year I really saw it, and it was wild to see.
Sorry, if y'all are waiting on me, sorry, I'm reading the.
You're all right.
The prompts.
I'm reading the chat. I'll mute myself and read the chat sometimes. So you're good, buddy. Is there anybody else on the panel that have any suggestions? Any random thoughts?
I have a random thought.
Sure.
If you really want to support the Tater, you need to press the share button down below and share to your social media.
Yes, I agree with that. I appreciate that. Very free, very easy, simple thing to do. Just like, subscribe, share. Most of the people in the chat are probably there already. But if this gets clipped, well, I'll probably clip it. So I appreciate you saying that.
You're welcome. So
you can also donate monetarily with the link in the pinned comment.
Yeah, you can. That would be exponentially, nice, for sure.
that was an amazing customer service voice, just so you know. I approve.
Right?
Sounded pretty accurate to me.
That's funny. That's right. I'm gonna have to make it a soundboard.
Oh, I would be honored.
That's funny. So, do you have any suggestions, Bandit?
Well, all right. Topic number 3 kind of interests me because, all right, like, it's the Tim Pool one.
Mhm.
Let me just read it for those that can't see it. Stolen from Tim Pool, but it's a very good idea, in my humble opinion. Slightly reworded to be more serious. A new amendment considering the right to life is established. The right to grow, produce, and collect food, water
Hey,
on
thanks,
property
Bud
shall
Logos.
not be
Appreciate it, man.
infringed. I'm
assuming it's
I
mine.
agree with it, but the first thing
Whoever
that comes
you're
to my
sharing,
mind
I
is like
appreciate it, though.
an
Grow the
analogy to the
nation.
Second Amendment, to where, all right, I'm sure as soon as I say this, everyone's gonna throw up red flags and be like, "Oh, that's not analogous," but it, like where the Second Amendment doesn't give us rights to nuclear weapons, which I don't see
Yeah,
where
getting
it
out and doing stuff.
says that we
Learning
don't,
real
but,
life. That's how I
can
think homeschooling should be.
at least let me put it this way, at least in the immediate future, if this were to become a hot topic issue, that those two things would become analogous, where it'd be like your
I figured as
right
much. I was
to
just,
collect
don't
rainwater
ever want to
would be
assume. We know
analogous
what
to,
that
like,
is, right?
oh, well, why do you need a Barrett 50 BMG? Like that
I
kind
want
of
one
thing.
of those.
No, I'm just like
I want one of those.
parsing the argument. I'm not.
Utah only
I'm
allows
not
so much water collection.
endorsing
It's
either
kinda
side,
interesting.
or I'm not endorsing the gun grabber side in the
thought it
least. I'm just
was-
saying I could easily see that becoming like similar
Yeah, I
arguments.
thought it was more.
Oh yeah, I see where you're coming from, but
I know.
I think for
Blood
us
Logos,
to
but this
really
is a
see
pretty
that, we'd
decent
honestly
idea.
have to get there.
There's a
Yeah.
decent amount of people.
And that was kind of where I was laying it out.
You won't
Where
know
it's
until
like,
it happens. That's just the kind of thing it is.
Fair enough.
and I think slightly unrelated to the topic, I think everyone should have like a small, like whatever size property that you have, you should be able to grow whatever kind of crops that you can on there to self-sustain yourself, like,
Right. Well, it's like
it
Beatrix in the chat says, like, Utah only allows so much water collection, right? So rainwater and stuff like that. Some states allow you to be able to collect rainwater, and some apparently limit you, and some don't allow you to at all, right? So you should be able to collect rainwater. You should be able to, like Bandit saying, grow your own food. You should be able to, have the ability to, if you have like a stream next to your house, you should be able to fish in that for free. Like, you shouldn't have to have a license for that, because that's your property. You know what I mean? Kind of a thing. Like, I don't know exactly how that would end up working out, but yeah.
Well, I can push forth an issue that's related to it, because I'm on the East
That's
Coast.
freaking
and
fantastic. Appreciate the
I know I
feedback
have
there,
neighbors
Beatrix.
that collect rainwater because I've seen the barrels, but it's one of those things that
Fair enough, gamer.
we are on a watershed, which, for those that don't
Good to
know
see
what
you,
that
Mr.
means,
B.
it's
Appreciate you joining
like
the chat.
rainwater that falls here ends up in the Chesapeake Bay. It goes, underground, long way. But it's one of those things that I find it kind of interesting that we're allowed to.
Oh, really?
I'm this part I'm not
I didn't know that.
hard line on,
Practice.
but we're allowed to throw so many chemicals on the ground to make plants grow that ends up affecting plant, ocean life, whatever, but we're not allowed to collect rainwater. Like, it's selective enforcement is where I'm trying to get at. Do y'all follow on that?
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. And they have all types of laws that are basically meant to restrict your not only individuality but your independence on the government, because they want you to have to be, relying on them and all the big pharma, big ag, etc., and not be independent as a person and be able to run yourself, your family.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm not against putting chemicals on the ground to make your grass green, whatever. If it were to come to a head, then I might become, more hardline in either way. But it's one of those things that, like, the way that I'm looking at the issue as it
That's
stands,
nice.
it's one of those things that people that got money want nice green grass, and so
For many different reasons, probably, Beatrix.
they talk to their buddy that has power in government
Yeah,
to
we'd like to have
allow
you, Blood
that,
Logos,
but
if you'd like to join.
you
Always like
you
to have you on
can't
the panel, man.
collect rainwater because it's gonna affect the way the estuaries and the watershed goes. Like, it seems like it's more of a people, the haves versus the have-nots versus the actual ecological issue at hand.
Yeah. Well, so I'm one for natural as much as possible. If you don't have to use chemicals, stay away from chemicals.
agree.
Find a natural way of fertilizing and things like that. And if you have property, try to avoid as much grass and try to keep it more to native. What would they be? I mean, they'd
Forage.
be forage. Yeah, I mean, they'd be weeds essentially, was what we call them, but they're from your area. They're indigenous to that area, so they grow a lot deeper root system, and they'll keep your everything in place a lot better. And so they don't have to be mowed, they don't have to be maintained, and then they allow for the pollinators and the fireflies and stuff like that to find their places.
Well, I can push back on the chemical side. I agree with you, but where I'm gonna push back is it's one of those things that
That's fair, Blood Logos.
the government
It's always good to
are
see
the
you, though.
ones that decide what chemicals you can use and what chemicals you can't, and it's one of those things that
Oh no, Beatrix.
there
Oh no.
there could be something as simple as like manure, putting manure on your lawn as a fertilizer, but there's going to be some sort of local or state ordinance that forbids that because it smells. Am I still good? Because my
You kind of roboted for a second, but you're good now.
okay. But do you understand what I'm getting at? Where it's like, while I agree on what you're saying with chemicals, they could forbid something as natural as manure in
Right.
Yeah,
just
Elmo,
because of smell, and it's like
dandelions are one of the best
you're
things for your
forcing
heart.
me to put
for your
some
heart
like
valves. Yeah,
you're forcing me to put like
there's a lot
well,
of things.
Agent
that
Orange was a herbicide, but something that is as adverse to the human body, or as Agent Orange as a fertilizer on it.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of different things that they're doing with fertilizer lately that I've been seeing the last couple of years that I don't know, like, if we want to bring it up on the panel or if I'm going to cover it on my weekend stream, but there's some some serious concerns with what they're using for fertilizer in some of the areas at this point. But
I'm kind of curious about that because usually most of what I've seen has been with herbicides. You
yeah,
got the Roundup and that kind of stuff.
yeah, Roundup, as I understand, was Agent Orange, and they renamed it. I could be wrong.
I think you are because the name escapes me. It's like I think it's glipicide. Is something different. Because I remember
glyphosate.
when you were,
Glyphosate.
Glyphosate, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'd have to pull it up, but I don't think glyphosate was in Agent Orange. I think it's just another brand or another variety that happens to be just as nasty as Agent Orange.
Yeah.
I was talking about Agent Orange with my friends the other day.
Yeah, they're turning the frogs
It's
gay. Blood logos. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Alex Jones.
We've never got any compensation or that, or recognition, but we're pretty sure my grandfather died from that.
Wow.
Had bone cancer, served in Vietnam and Korea. But he was well to do, so it wasn't like they were hurting because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, Agent Orange was what we dropped on Vietnam forests to deforest the triple canopy that they had. Yeah, Beatrix. Yeah, that's why I say I thought it was the glyphosate or whatever, but I could be wrong. Oh, look at that! Some plants and stuff. That's awesome.
My tomatoes.
Tomato. Oh man, I'm so behind.
Well, since we're talking about the right to grow what is yours, I would show them off.
Right. Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
If you don't mind my asking, what state are you in?
Texas.
Texas.
Good old
okay.
Texas.
Because I'm not gonna dox myself, but I live in Virginia, and the county I live in, we're known for our tomatoes.
Well, I grew these from seed, and I am super excited.
Nice.
That they are doing so well.
Yeah, they look healthy for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, they look pretty good.
You're welcome.
Amazing faucet. We love that. I was just gonna say, also just a quick kind of side, not quite tangent, is I think it's really interesting that everyone's so concerned, like everyone in quote unquote big so concerned with these pesticides, etc. Yeah, we're not worried about one of the chemicals that's hurting us the most right now, which is the smorgasbord pill that gets into the
what?
Sorry, it's in the water supply as it's being flushed down the toilet along with all the mud.
Right. Well, and that kind of brings me to has anybody on the panel? I guess we'll bring it up now. Has anybody in the panel heard of human manure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm aware what human manure is. I mean, but like, I feel like when you ask the question, there's something that I'm unaware of, like in context.
Yeah. So, does anybody else know for sure what I'm referring to when I say that? Okay, so basically what it boils down to is they have started to treat human feces and use it as manure as fertilizer.
Yeah.
So
wow, the face I just made. I'm disgusted.
Yeah, so they this is something I just came across, and this has been happening for years apparently. And that is beyond disturbing, especially with what you just said, the smorgasbord pill being into the water, into that essentially, and then into our food, and it just continues on down the cycle. And so I curious on anybody's takes on that, I guess, while we've brought it up.
They're treating it, Tater. It's obviously safe.
Totally. That's totally what treating does.
Yeah.
I do not accept this.
Well, and that's the thing
I
is,
do not want to be eating feces-derived food.
I don't either. So that, I mean, isn't that how they grow mushrooms? Is in feces? I mean, it's usually in cow dung, but it's not human. And human
my
is
uncle
treated as a biohazard.
Biohazard.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My uncle considers mushrooms the shit of shit.
Basically it is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome in, Mr. B. You dropped out. Did you have this everything good for you? Just want to make sure you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just came back in because I was coming in to say the glyphosate is the Agent Orange, but someone already covered it, so I jumped back out because I had to wait for Apprentice to come back.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So glyphosate is Agent Orange.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I was mistaken on
And
that.
then-
No, you're good.
And then I came back in because I was going to say human feces is a biohazard and will give you a bad case of bacterial cross contamination if you try and grow any vegetables with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so there's a bunch of people pushing back on it finally, but
Took 'em all
it's
off.
been going on for a while, and so like farms down the way from these farms are testing their wells and they're finding forever chemicals and these, the submersion pill chemical type of ideas in their water that they're essentially drinking and feeding their plants with, and they're not even part of this test or whatever they want to consider it. And then how they're treating this is like one way. I probably there's different ways, but one of them is they put a black tarp over it for 40 days, and that's how they treat it.
Healthy people, there is no economic value to healthy people.
Yes, yeah.
Right. Well, and they keep saying that it's the healthy humans that they're taking it from, but what healthy humans are we talking about? Go ahead.
It's
Brad.
Well,
gonna
how
have
do you
microplastics in it, won't it?
Exactly.
How do you
Go ahead,
one?
The
How do you
majority of-
determine?
Hold
How
on.
do you determine that those humans are healthy? And two, how do you determine that the humans that you take that the source that you're taking it from only has air quotes healthy humans in it?
Exactly. And well, I think it was ODJ was just saying that they'll still have microplastics in it. I mean, that's probably in the water system just in general, but how much do we consume, right? And then
Well,
Mr. B, you were just about to say something. Hold on, sorry.
The majority of our natural manures that we use on plants right now are
Pfizer
derived
fertilizer.
from,
Yeah, right.
if you're making it yourself, some kind of plant composting and or meat composting that you can put into your own compost piles, or some type of animal feces, be it cow, horse, or pig.
Right.
yeah, but
Those are
but-
and goats are pretty safe as well.
But by definition, compost can't be manure. Manure is feces
Right,
of an
of
animal.
course.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that,
taking it back to what Mr. B said with the animals, we've I mean, I don't personally, but the vast majority, we've so over medicated our animals that medication is
Right.
passing through them as well, and we're composting and treating our food and our crops with that too. So, I mean, like either way, we're getting dosed. It seems like I'm just totally against the human manure though. Like that's just nasty. But like either way, we are dosing
real, though.
ourselves.
right.
Well, one last thing I'll say on like the whole like, oh, well, it's coming from healthy people. It's like, all right, one, it's not like they're going in a bucket and you're only getting it there. But so let's assume that there's some sort of like I'm drawing a blank on the term, but it's like they're getting it from the pipes. But who's to say that you don't, like, one of these healthy people isn't a liberal and has a friend over that has some sort of immutable or like AIDS or something like that. Next thing you know, who's there's someone in the group that farms cows.
That
That's
would be
Barn
Barn.
Diesel.
Barn
Yeah,
Diesel.
Barn Diesel.
Barn Diesel.
Yes, Beatrix, exactly.
He had like a
We
great
are the carbon they want to reduce.
analogy to this, where he had some kids that were
It's a good
working
question,
for
actually.
him one year, and they didn't know what they were doing, and so he knows that, like, if there's a cow that's getting antibiotics, the milk that comes from those cows is not to go into the main tanks. Well, the kid didn't know what he was doing, and milk from a cow that was getting antibiotics was in the tanks, and that whole tank had to, not only what was tainted in his tanks, but it wasn't discovered until the truck came to pick up what he had. And so not only did what he had to be thrown out, but what had been picked up from his neighbors also had to be thrown out.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, it is going to be expensive. Yeah. Especially considering that they don't make nearly what they should be making. You know, Jay, you might know more about how much, like, how much do you get per pound comparatively to what they sell it at the store for? I don't think you do beef, but I
Farm
know.
stuff. This
Oh,
farm
for my
stuff
lamb?
is evil.
Yeah, for like that. I mean, you might know. I don't know if you sell it on the market or how you do your meat.
My market's pretty saturated where I'm at, actually, because we have amazing grazing land. However, I want to say for lamb, they're getting anywhere from 18 to 30 a pound.
A pound?
Is that for
Holy
meat or
fuck.
milk?
Meat,
Meat,
right?
lamb meat.
Meat, yeah.
Yeah.
How much is beef right now? I buy a half of beef whenever I can, but how much is beef?
Yeah,
right
I
now?
don't know.
Does
I bought a
anybody-
cow.
Right. Does anybody know? No, nobody knows.
Too damn much.
Too damn much, yeah, for real.
Beef wholesale,
Go ahead.
It's
Pete.
beef
probably about-
wholesale price right now is.
I'd say it's probably about $6.99 for 80/20
Jesus Christ.
hamburger.
Try feeding a growing kid that never stops eating. Dude.
Right,
Like,
right.
it is outrageous.
Hold on. B was trying to hold on. B was trying to say something. What were you saying?
Right now, cattle wholesale prices is $387 to $390 per 100 pounds of weight, and that averages out to about $6 to $7 per pound.
Okay. And does it say anything about how much the farmers are making on that meat by any chance?
Probably not enough.
Hold on.
Jesus.
Farmers are
It
making what,
doesn't
$1
say.
a pound?
Probably, yeah. Under $1.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't say what the farmer
Fair enough.
is.
Of course, it's not going to tell us that. Hardwire says too
You
damn
can tell us.
expensive. Hardwire says too damn expensive. Steaks are $24 to $29 a pound. What the frick? Holy crap! Again, I don't.
Wait,
Yeah, if you want your quality
which
steak,
cut
right.
is he referring
Right.
to?
That definitely is a question.
If you want a
Not
quality
if you buy it in
ribeye,
bulk like that. If you buy a $1,500 worth of
Yeah, I do actually. I do. I just
cow,
I'm
it'll
slacking
end up
on it
being
for
like
sure.
$10 a pound for the steaks.
Yeah.
But who has that kind of money to just buy a cow right away?
Well, yeah. No.
Or freezer space.
Yeah, or freezer space. Yeah, that's the other thing is you got to
Right.
have the room for a whole cow or half a cow or even a quarter of a cow if they are willing to sell a quarter of a cow, and a lot of farmers aren't willing to go that low.
Right, they generally don't sell under $600 worth.
Fair. That's
I
fair.
think there's a farm near me that will sell you like a quarter a cow.
That's not bad.
So my dad was saying something about it. Once upon a time, he wanted to do it. We don't have the freezer space though.
Fair.
I think that's the importance, and just emphasizes the importance of having the communities and building the relationships with, the people around you. It's like, I have no interest in raising cows. I've had a cow. I've had 2 cows on my property once. It lasted 24 hours and they broke out. And I said, they're gone or they're going in the freezer. I'm done. I ain't doing this. But
funny.
my neighbors raise cows just fine. And I like raising chickens and sheep. And so we swap.
Nice.
Wish
And
I
it makes
had
it
that.
easy.
That's the way to be is trading. You know, we need to get back to the barter system, the trade system, and more communities.
Yeah.
Definitely
more
want the community.
skills, knowledge, or things you have that you can trade with someone in your community, the more you can get off the system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so yeah, bringing it back to the prompt real quick. So the new amendment, considering that right to life it already exists, the right to grow, produce, and collect food, water on private property shall not be infringed. Is there any pushback on that, or do we all pretty much agree on that?
No, I want more government in my life, said no one ever.
The what is it? The
I-
7 most terrifying words in the English language. I'm from the government. I'm here to help, or whatever. How many ever?
Yeah.
I don't math well, so I don't English
No, you're
well
right.
either.
I don't care. It
9
doesn't
words.
matter how many.
9 words, yeah.
The only extension that needs to be added to that is that the right to life extends to conceived children.
For real though, seriously. Well, and it's like, you know, I covered at one point in time there was that federal judge or whatever that ruled the future persons. So we've already started to make some headway. We just really need to start pushing for that idea more because again, almost what is it, 80 to 90% of biologists agree that conception is when life begins. I mean, of course it is because the cells start replicating. That is life. What kind of life it is the question, obviously, but we all know it's got to be human. It's got to be human.
Well, I think the
Biology,
strongest point.
anatomy, and scientific textbooks all agree that life begins at conception.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the strongest political argument towards making that a possibility is hammering home the trope of, well, if a pregnant woman gets killed in a drunk driving accident, is the drunk driver not charged with double homicide?
Right.
Only
Well,
if she wants the baby.
Well, no, that's irrelevant because the it's considered a life. Whether or not she wanted it, it's considered a life.
Oh, no, sir. I wasn't arguing with you.
Oh,
I
no,
was
no,
just
no,
giving you the flip side.
Sorry, I was pushing back against the logical legal argument against
Right.
so
Right.
Holmes,
not you particularly.
real quick, Homestead. So were you? Is there somewhere that basically says that?
No, it just popped
Okay.
up in my head.
No, you're
Like
good. You're
that would be the only thing I could think of
Right,
that they could
playing-
use. Like,
playing-
since she was pregnant, she didn't know.
playing.
Did she really want the baby?
Yeah, you're playing the court gesture, basically, right?
Yeah, the advocate.
The advocate. Yeah, that makes
We've
sense.
actually heard
That makes sense. I
argument
just wanted to
before.
make sure because I've never heard of that, and if that's somewhere, that needs to be fought against for sure.
I would say it's
Because
an idea. It's not a law. Sorry, I don't mean to
Like-
say it. That's what people
Leia, you're really fuzzy. I
Muffled.
don't know if we can hear you hardly at all. Try that again,
Can you hear me?
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just saying it's a common argument, or at least somewhat common. It's not like in law anywhere that I know of, but it is something that the pro-aborts say a lot. Like basically, the answer to the question that bandit posed would literally be if she wanted to take it, which is
Yeah, which is why I pushed back on it the way that I did. I wasn't, and I think it's clear that I wasn't assuming that was your argument. I was just to answer the question, the answer that was posed.
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, I've never heard of that being the case. I don't know. I mean, if we're going to allow the act of the smortion, I don't know, but we hold them accountable for 2 lives as it stands right now, and as we should.
It's just a sick justice system that is a possibility that could be an argument.
That's fair.
The problem is it's considered a double homicide because both the mother and child are dead. It's hard to establish a pre-death mindset for the child or the mother's intent for the child after she's passed. So you can't.
I could see them arguing something like that if she was on her way to a clinic to have, like, she had scheduled and she was on her way.
Right.
I could see that being an argument. Like, that's how sick our world is right now.
But that's an edge case. I mean, we're talking about like
all it takes is one.
Yeah.
The left does like to argue the extremes.
Yes.
They love their edge cases.
Yeah, that's like grape and life of the mother, quote unquote.
Bite your tongue, Hardwire. What is wrong with you?
Yeah, all right, so
one that works,
right.
I guess that makes sense. Fair enough.
I'm for, like, in the event that the mother's life is at risk. Let me put it this way, because I think it morally, all right, if you can save the mother and lose the child, but then the mother is able to reproduce later on.
Amen, apprentice. Amen.
Is it not morally inconsistent to say, all right, we're going to save this child and lose the mother when we could win? If it was a reverse, there might be 2 or 3 more children.
But what does that say about the mother? Go ahead, man.
And hold on, real quick. One more distinction that I need to make crystal clear. I'm talking about, like, the mother's life is actually on the line. I'm not talking about, like, these women that, I think I'm going to harm myself or some bullshit like that if they don't get their way with a smortion. I was trying to, hopefully I was in the lines on TOS with that.
Here's the case in most of the situations, though. Like, in most situations where a mother's life is at risk, we're talking like ectopic pregnancies, and we're talking fallopian tube pregnancies. We're talking the pregnancies where the child has not implanted correctly. In most of those cases, they would have already taken care of that pregnancy and ended it, because when they look at where the child is implanted, they can say, okay, well, if it stays here, you're going to die.
Yeah. Ironically, I was giving them shit about an edge case and went straight to an edge case.
Right.
Okay, can I speak for just a minute on this, pretty please? Your resident expert.
Yeah. Sorry if I cut you off.
No, you didn't. I didn't want to cut you off. No, what I was going to say is, I absolutely despise this argument, this life of the mother argument, because it is something that's been pushed in our society as this fact, right? There's a few exceptions, and, like, even the most pro-life people is usually one of the few things they say, like you just said, is like, but, for life of the mother. Except what I think a lot of people fail to realize, including even women, a lot of men, but also women, is that these procedures, these life-saving procedures being done to save mom, are not smortions. They're not. They are different procedures that are, like, in the case of ectopic pregnancy, like you just mentioned, there's a procedure to remove a part of the fallopian tube or wherever else baby has implanted that is incorrect and will ultimately not produce a healthy pregnancy and baby, right? So yes, that will ultimately end, unfortunately, in the death of the child, but that is not the sole intent. Where with smortion, that is your goal, is to go in and rip apart and remove that child before and you don't have to do that. Yes, sometimes it requires an early birth, and unfortunately, medical advancements are only so great, so we can't save every baby born at 12 and 14 weeks, but that's not intentionally directly killing a child.
Of
And
course,
how do
it's
you
the
actually know that it's going to end that way unless you follow through with it? Like, what if they're telling you that and you tell them, no, I'm going to sacrifice my life for my baby's life, and then you end up just fine? Like, how many of those happen?
well,
Oh, yeah.
It's a non-zero.
the problem
I-
with the ectopic pregnancies and the fallopian tube pregnancies is those generally will end in death because
No, I wasn't talking
that-
about those, though.
Right. And that's a good point to bring up because one of my best friends, his sister, she has 4 kids now, and every time she is pregnant, they tell her she's going to die, and she hasn't yet.
Exactly. And
Oh, yeah, 100%.
How many women would rather are like, oh, I'm so scared, instead of being like, no, this baby's life is worth it. I have lived a full life. My husband will be okay. What about those situations? Like, why is
That's
it
how it
always,
should be.
oh, she might die? Well, why can't she sacrifice her life for once?
Well, I honestly
Because these people are too hedonistic. They're way too
honestly,
hedonistic.
I think
I know.
if
I'm just saying. Like, it gets on my nerves that argument gets on my nerves for that reason. Like, you women would not sacrifice your pinky nail for someone else's kid. It makes sense.
Oh yeah, 100%. And if I may just real quick, that I have, I have 3 angel babies awaiting me when I enter the pearly gates. Hopefully, fingers crossed, pray to God. And I have, for the women out there, maybe highly knowledgeable men, endo and PCOS. They literally call it in the
Yeah, that's the
OBGYN
thing,
world the baby
Beatrix.
killer. It's problems
Is
with my baby.
majority of them are just
You know,
used
at the end of the day.
form of birth
Anyway,
control, and I
so I've had
covered
all
this
these
in one of
problems
my
my whole
videos
life. They
too.
suggested I have a partial hysterectomy
Sad.
for the first time when I was 18 years old. And so both times I was pregnant with my children, this is before Dobbs, they were like, you may as well just take it to the clinic because it's not going to work out. The first doctors I thought were like, no, this isn't going to end well. And I was told when I was 17 I would never carry a child to term, and I might as well just give it up, which is just wild. The way people treat women with these problems is just absolutely insane to me regardless. But that's exactly it. Like, so many women with these types of problems or with any type of questionable issue within their pregnancy are told these things. And yes, like Mr. B said,
I 100%
ectopic
agree with
pregnancy,
that,
it's not
Beatrix,
like
for sure.
usually it will happen that the woman could pass. Like, if it's not treated, eventually wherever baby is growing will burst or detach,
Right.
she will hemorrhage, she will die. Like,
That's
even if you're in the
completely
hospital when
different.
it happens, right?
Right.
Right. But other situations are not every situation
Bingo.
is, so
It's
this
just
life of the
avoiding
mother,
responsibility, accountability. their
therefore needing
kryptonite.
mismortion is a complete.
We respect women like yourself.
And I
Well,
just
I mean-
want to clarify my position. I'm not going to the healthcare side of it. Like, I'm just addressing it from the moral and logical side of. So many people say that, oh well, for the health of the mother. But what I'm saying is, like, in a logical argument where it being the health of the mother is an actual risk, not this edge case or that edge case. Like, I think
Oh
that
yeah,
with if someone is within like the ages where if a woman is able to have several more kids, but she's going to die if this child is not terminated, like, is there not a moral dilemma there
this is
where
what this is what I'm trying to tell you, because
yeah
the procedure is not a Smith
yeah
and
it,
I'm not trying to like fight back against you. I totally understand where you're coming from, that you're not looking at it medically, you're looking at it morally. However, when making these arguments, they get combined in other people's minds, which is why whenever, this myth comes up, I always push back against it, because I would be willing to bet the majority of our population in America believes this myth, right? So anytime I hear it, I want to stop it in its tracks, because it's just not the case. There are OBGYNs, specialty OBGYNs that treat high risk pregnancies. There's a couple of them that have come together. I can put some information in the Discord, right? That have said after treating like 60,000 patients that never once did they have to do a misfortune to save mom or baby. Yes, they lost some babies, but the difference is because they prioritized life for both mom and baby, they didn't lose 60,000. Whereas with some misfortune, you would.
My point is it morally right to think of yourself over your child? Period.
No.
Regardless.
No.
That's where I'm coming from.
Jay,
Can I just ask for a little bit of clarification from Bandit real quick? So I don't think that you're necessarily referring to the things like ectopic pregnancies. I get the impression, correct me if I'm wrong, that you're referring to things like pregnant mom is on the hospital bed bleeding out. We have a choice. We pick one. Is that the type of scenario that you're speaking of?
Like,
okay, that's what I thought you were talking about, like the ultimate extreme. For me, I personally I get where you're coming from morally. For me, I would not on the medical side of it. I've lived my life. I would not be able to live with myself. Well, I would be dead if I saved the child, obviously, but like I wouldn't be able to look at my husband again and say, "You picked me over our kid."
You're just getting started,
I couldn't ever respect him in that fashion again if he chose my life over the life of an innocent child.
Well, and to be clear,
that makes perfect sense. So bandit just means a wild hypothetical, basically.
Yes,
not
and
like
to be
actual.
clear, I'm trying to draw that's not my personal belief. I just want that I want to make personally perfectly clear. But I'm
welcome
also
in,
like trying
Toto.
to draw
appreciate the engagement
because
you're new, so welcome to the channel.
A lot of times with the
we have
whole,
open panel discussions.
this
Anybody's
is why
welcome
we
to join.
Need to have abortions. It's a utilitarian argument. I'm trying to draw like I'm trying to draw a different utilitarian argument out of it, where it's like the more pro-life. I'm not being pro-abortion. I'm trying to square the circle on a mother that would be trying to bring the most lives into the world.
Hey JB, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate the engagement, buddy.
Case where it's her life or the child in where I'm basically trying to put the abortion argument into a trolley problem.
Unfortunately, you can't really compare it to anything else.
You can either go the one child now or let the woman die and she doesn't birth multiple children later.
Here's the thing. Most women that are actually the type of women that want to be mothers will gladly give their life for their children.
Exactly.
Patriarchy here.
We would sacrifice ourselves.
Most fathers that are actually want to be fathers have had this discussion with their wives and would gladly let their wife sacrifice their life to bring that child into the world.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I just want to be 100% clear because I feel like you still at the end there, Bandit, said the same thing you said earlier. I want to be clear. That is a wild hypothetical, which is why you had to come up with wild hypotheticals, because misfortune is unlike anything else in the world, just like pregnancy, right? But there is absolutely no case that has happened ever in history where we have had to have an abortion to save a woman's life. Not once, not ever, to be clear. Those procedures are not abortions. I just want to be clear.
And the thing is about since the 50s,
I don't know if anybody's
been pushing and shoving that like every pregnancy is a 50-50 whether the woman will live or die.
Right. So just out of curiosity, Beatrix, that wouldn't be an abortion.
They literally say that abortion is safer than carrying pregnancy to term, which
it would be just
so
a procedure.
Wild. It
wouldn't
bends my
be
brain.
that, right?
Like,
It's just
I don't know whether people actually believe.
It is simply a justification to get out of being a responsible person. And here's if there is a possibility it's you or your kid, why wouldn't you want your baby to live as long as possible in the safest place it's ever been, your womb?
Well,
Because then
hold
I
on.
got
Let me grant the argument for a second. All right, so if let's grant that 50-50, every pregnancy is going to be a 50-50 that the one of them dies. Well, if you offer abortion as a solution of that, you're guaranteeing that one of them dies. And so how does that make things better?
True. Very, very true.
Great question.
It really doesn't.
Because the thing that a lot of people don't really
Without being a
speak on,
father,
even
I can't
people on the
really
right, even
say.
conservatives, is in
I
these
say
types of conversations.
I'd probably
is the
be a
fact
little
that abortion
selfish.
completely, 100% of the time,
I don't know.
ends the
I
life
don't think I
of
would
someone,
be.
and so
That's
there's a death there.
wild
We keep
situation.
talking, not we like us, but people keep talking as if it's like this choice, which usually ends in a strange hypothetical, or the mother to die, when in reality, an abortion, someone always dies.
And again, clarification, I was just joking. I'd probably take the innocent
other
life.
telling sign of where we're at today.
Keep the
We
innocent
can
life.
go
Jesus
into
Christ.
graphic detail.
You're gonna get
describing
clipped.
the procedures and all of the bits and bobs and every little graphic thing that happens during a smush motion, but we aren't allowed to say the word.
Right.
Right.
I didn't
Well,
know YouTube wouldn't let you say that. Is that a new thing?
Yes.
No, it's been
Oh,
around for like the last
sorry. No.
4 or 5
Sorry.
years.
Yeah. But it's also one of those things that in court, it's one of those things that if you describe what happens, they'll throw you in contempt of court for being
Beatrix.
obscene. It's the same thing as when
this poor
the
bastard.
cases of where they're reading what amounts to I don't
Pornography.
know. Yeah, okay. I didn't know if that was
that's fair.
word on
Pornography. Sorry.
pornography.
I would really like to have kids someday.
They read pornography to kids in school. But if you describe if you read the book in front of the board of supervisors or your county board, they'll throw you out for being obscene. It's like you're forcing this to be read to our kids, and you don't want it to be heard in front of adults.
I would just like to say I am honored to be on a panel with 3 based women.
Well,
Also,
Go ahead, Mr. B. Sorry, I cut you off.
the reason they wanted to be struck as obscene in front of them is because they don't want the truth to be out. They
absolutely
they want to teach your kids these things. They just don't want you to say they're teaching these kids these things.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Because then they have to admit they're perverts and scumbags.
Are we talking about homeschooling earlier?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gee, I wonder why anybody would be driven to do such a thing in this society. Teach their children all this craziness.
Right. Apprentice says, boom, Mr. B. I'm not sure what he was referring to because he was a minute behind and now, the delay, but I just saw that. He says, oop, I'm a second behind. That boom was for Mr. B in case it was very badly timed. It was, Apprentice. It was. Just kidding.
We have no idea what you're booming.
Right. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Let's see. So JB says, okay, I'll play the jester's advocate. Has anyone seen someone that they know that shouldn't be parents?
Of course.
No, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Of course.
If that wasn't the case, there would be no reason for CPS.
I appreciate you.
I mean,
right, which is the biggest human trafficking organization in the world, by the way. But even if that's the case, what are we going to do? Illegalize people we don't want to have children having children? That's crazy.
Yeah, I was
Right.
speaking
Wild.
legitimate. I know you understood it. I just wanted to clarify. I'm speaking
the-
legitimately.
My
The,
parents are the poster children for not having children, and I ended up just fine.
Yeah, grow up.
Also, the end goal cannot be because these people shouldn't have kids, we should allow some abortion. The end goal
Yeah.
needs to be if you shouldn't have kids, you should keep your legs closed.
Oh, real?
Nobody
Right.
needs.
That's
Oh
Agreed.
wow, mad solution, so insane.
Just freaking wild.
I
wild
think that's
there,
common
Mr. B.
sense. If you don't want kids, I don't even know a word I can say this on YouTube, but you know what I mean. Just don't.
Custody.
Just don't.
I'm gonna make sure. What was that commenter that just had the comment about boom? Because there's perfect timing for boom, Mr. B.
It was
Nobody
apprentice.
needs sex.
Boom. Yeah, nobody needs it. Yeah, well, I'm just telling you. Nobody needs it.
You want it, and it's
Not
great,
outside
but
of
you don't
marriage.
need it.
You don't need it, especially outside of marriage. If you want it that badly, find the person that you can get along with and that you can make a life with and that you rely on, and then do it. Okay, quit having sex outside of marriage.
Real.
Yeah. Finding someone is easier said than done, just so you know.
No, I know.
I'm kidding.
I know that. I'm just saying.
I'm
like,
trying, all right.
not everybody is.
Your base lady is out there.
I sure hope
think so.
Shit. Starting to lose hope. Anyway, all right. So,
Never that.
are we still on that subject? Do we want to continue on with that subject, or do we want to move on?
You know me, I could argue about some abortion for weeks, but I'm down to move on.
Right.
It's okay to move on.
Okay. Is there anywhere that we want to take it? Because we started on with the right to grow your own, produce your own, collect your own. And we started with that. We ended up on susmortion. So do we want to go back to that prompt, or are we pretty much done with that prompt as well?
I've got kind of an interesting prompt is it for current events. I don't know if any of y'all are aware that. So I live in Virginia.
Okay.
And 2 weeks ago we had the redistricting vote.
Okay.
And one of the main people in the state legislature that pushed forth the vote, which long story short, violated every rule as to passing that vote. Just every rule that could have been that was regarding that was violated. But yesterday was it yesterday or the day before?
Fair
I think
enough.
it was yesterday. The head person that was in that put forth that vote was Louise Lucas, and she has several businesses in the Portsmouth area, which is the area of the state. She's a state senator in Virginia that she represents. That she has several businesses that are both cannabis and healthcare or Medicare that were raided by the FBI. I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Shirley shows up in my state anytime soon.
What was that?
So what's the prompt?
I
You
I
kind of
was
wandered.
Yeah, I was kind of given the details and didn't really have a question regarding it. Let's just open it up to any kind of comments and we'll see where it might go from there. It might just move on to another issue if it's everyone's in agreement.
That this person should have been raided?
Yeah. Well, all right. So I do. All right. Sorry. I was going on down the rabbit trail. So the Democrats are pushing forth now that the reason for the raid has nothing to do with impropriety with her businesses. even though they started under the the investigations through the FBI started under the Biden administration, Democrats are posing that it is all backlash due to our passing
Red team go,
the
red
vote,
team
which
go.
is probably going to be overturned.
Is a man in the bushes? I don't know, man. I don't know.
And yeah, it's a politics play. Do you have any comments on like making prompts is hard?
It's all corrupt.
I'm sure.
It is all corrupt. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
making prompts is kind of hard, isn't it, Bandit? Now you know what I go through every week.
It's all
Go ahead, buddy.
easier when it's like abortion, good or bad.
Yeah. I was actually going to talk about that. I can't remember. I think it was Papa Smurf that put it in my Discord saying that they were redistricting in Virginia. I was going to look into it. I haven't had a chance to. So,
Well, hey, TLDR on that is more than likely the Virginia Supreme Court is going to throw it out, and everyone's going to be, or the Democrats are going to be whining and moaning and probably going to riot.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Okay, so anybody have anything on that topic while we're there? Or do we want to move on? Do we want to move back to the original prompt number 3, the right to grow, things like that? Did anybody have anything on that before we move on to a different one? Okay, so let's see. Consequences of our actions is how we learn. Sometimes those consequences can be mitigated, but how and when, how often should they be? How severe do the consequences have to be to justify stealing the growth from the one who would receive the lesson? So does anybody have any questions on that prompt? Might be a little bit worded odd. Okay, does anybody have any thoughts on that prompt? We're pretty much all in agreement. Go ahead.
We learn life lessons through consequence.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. The one axiom that I always use when it comes to this is you'll never learn if it doesn't hurt.
Fair.
I need an example.
Of the prompt?
Yes.
Okay. So like, for example, somebody is will use using a substance of sorts, and they keep getting in trouble for it. How often, when and how often should we be basically mitigating the consequences for that person? Oh, they're just learning. They have an issue. We need to be helping them, or should they be like tried as a criminal every time? Like, what are we thinking on that one? That might not be quite the prompt, but
Yeah, I don't know if that's quite a good prompt because I got a few ideas about that have nothing to do with the prompt.
sure.
Yeah, that's
Right.
a tough one because addiction is interesting and unique in its struggle, and every addict is different in the way that they end up
Right, like-
hitting rock bottom and then finding help. And jail saves lives. Saved my life.
And like, are they getting caught just driving across town, or are they stealing from Walmart to get their next hit type thing? Like what kind of trouble that? See, so what I have isn't really. I don't know if it really goes along with it.
Right. Well,
Right,
but
and are they a user? Or...
That's exactly the point. So are they? So since they were just going across town, or they were going across town to rob somebody, it's not just a charge for possession at that point in time, right? So we wouldn't be necessarily lenient on them for the the theft charge, but they are obviously in need of help, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
how often should we be mitigating those consequences for that?
Well, I have what might be a hot take or an unpopular opinion on this, but a lot of people don't realize just how lenient the justice system already is.
I
on
think it's just
addicts.
their
If you
growth,
are
like their
someone with a
personal
problem
growth.
and you
I
go in
think
front
is
of the
what you're
court for
referring to.
any misdemeanor and certainly a slew of felonies even, and you say, look, I have a drug problem, 99% of the time, you're going to get offered some type of split confinement. So you'll be able to do like some time in jail and some in, say, rehab or a halfway house or just straight treatment. So even several times, like, because people in the injustice system, if you will, are perfectly aware that relapse is, a part of the recovery process. They will, even several times, give you that opportunity to seek treatment. So
Unless
I
you're
don't know
being
that it
dangerous. Like if
right,
you're
right,
going
100%.
robbing at pew pew point, maybe you get some more time. But like if you're just getting
Yeah,
caught
for sure.
with it trying to go home from your house, from your trap house, you know what I mean? Like,
I might have a non-drug related good example of how this might be applied.
okay.
Let's say we have someone with Down syndrome,
Yeah, exactly,
or
apprentice.
someone who is
Thanks for repointing that out.
severely mentally
Could
handicapped,
be a potato.
and they go
I
about
am
their
potato.
day and they accidentally kill someone.
That's good that you're not a criminal. I kind of am.
Let's say they were
So I'm one to talk
trying to
that
walk
say
across the
don't
street and
do what
someone
I
was
did.
stepping off the curb to try and go somewhere, and they accidentally push them in front of a bus instead of trying to help them off the curb. They now, should that Down syndrome person be charged with murder like someone else would if they pushed them in front of a bus?
Well, no,
Not if
because
it was
intent
unintentional.
matters.
Right. So that's an example
Yeah.
of when or how we should mitigate some of those consequences.
I would argue, though, that we kind of already do this as well with charges like, what is it? It's like homicide, but not negligent
Manslaughter.
homicide, and and manslaughter and things like
Involuntary,
that.
right?
Involuntary. Thank you, Jay. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Right.
But I
So
think
I gotta make dinner. I gotta mute.
Okay.
there are situations.
to the original prompt, not to your
Example.
example. I think the prompt itself demonstrates the issues with the legal system, where so many times there's like, well, this person had this reason or this thing, and we should be lenient on them, to the point where now I just came across
it is
in
hardwire.
my X feed,
Like I said, I'm
today, where
I'm not a proud one.
there was
but I
a
am
couple.
one.
I don't know the
I've been learning
circumstances
to be
of the
better.
case,
Right. I'm not a criminal anymore.
but there supposedly in 2017 there was a couple that in Georgia that was going by a 7-year-old's birthday party, that they had Confederate flags, shouting slurs, in death threats, and racking shotguns, but no one died. Now I'm not saying that that's good, but what I am going to say is they got more time than some people get for heinous murder. And it's one of those things where it's like, all right, we go to the point where we're trying to mitigate circumstances so far that you can commit the most heinous act and get a very light sentence, and then on the flip side of it is you someone else commits an act that is socially shunned, and you end up getting more time than someone that ends up doing a heinous act.
Well, yeah, I mean, the best example of that, right, from our recent, within this last 6 months, is Arena versus Arutska. the guy who offed her was let out of prison 14 times for other violent crimes.
And all right, so to that point, I was kind of holding it because I kind of got the idea halfway through. But all right, so I did hear this. So this is not original thought, but about a day or so ago, I'd heard this.
Yeah, exactly. Hardwire.
So if
There's
you're
some things
in the
my
bar
past that
and you
they're
and the
they're
bartender
minor
gives
essentially,
you so
and they've
much
haunted me for the rest of my
booze
life.
that
Essentially,
you are unable to go home, you're unable to drive home, and you end up killing someone on the way home. The bartender, the bar is going to be, they're going to be charged. Probably the bartender's going to be charged criminally. The bar is going to be charged civilly. You know, they're probably might go out of business.
right?
But we have judges that they have a defendant in front of them that has a laundry list of crimes that they've committed, and they put them back on the street as though they're a first offender, and then they go out and commit another, like the Zarina
Rina Zarutska. Yeah.
Should not the judges? This is I do have a prompt for this. Should not the judges be charged as in a similar fashion as to a bartender that gives a patron too much beer to drink? Like,
Yes.
should they be legally liable for letting a defendant off that they
Accessory.
Yeah.
They should be charged with
100%,
accessory.
JB. Yeah, they don't compare at all.
But
they
here's
compare.
the thing.
There's no
I don't
comparison.
think the bartender
Night and day with
should
what
be
they can
held
do.
as liable as the person drinking, because
No.
you should cut yourself off before you can't drive home.
Right.
I'm talking is not ought. Well,
But without a doubt,
is-
I understood the ought principle. I wasn't negating it.
Yeah.
Bircho. All right.
On the judge side, it was definitely an ought. That's
yeah,
where I was
without
going with it.
Fair.
Without a doubt.
All right. So, was there which top? Let's see. We were talking about the consequences. Okay. So, was there anything else on that topic?
Well, I'm kind of curious as to other people's thoughts about judges that let career criminals off on,
Sure.
with a slap on the wrist. I'm sure we're all going to agree on it, but I'm kind of curious if there's any kind of conversation that comes from that.
Sure. I just want to make sure that if there was anybody that wanted to, before we move fully on to another subject, if there was anybody that wanted to put their piece in on the consequences for action and how we learn. But if not, then we can go ahead and move on to that. And then, of course, with that being said, is there anybody that has any thoughts on what Bandit just said?
I think we don't have large enough consequences for a lot of things.
Based.
I think, Jay, you're roboting. I see your green bar come up, but I didn't quite catch what you were saying.
Really?
I could hear him.
no.
It was just really low.
No, Jay. Not ODJ, sorry. Just Jay.
Oh, shit.
You're
Sorry.
good, you're good.
I didn't hear it all.
Go ahead, Jay, if you got something to say.
I didn't.
Okay, fair enough. I just want to make sure because I know internet sometimes is spotty in places. So, all right. So, was there anybody else that wanted to put in on that, on what Bandit said? So what was
I think I already made my position clear.
fair? Okay. All right. Was there anything else? Is anybody want to talk about anything in specifically? Move the conversation to a different topic, but something that anybody has on their mind? No? Okay. We only have a couple of other topics that we haven't covered here. Let's see. So there's there needs to be a clear definition of what is allowable under free speech as far as the topic of the president is concerned. Like I said, when I was growing up, I would never have dreamed of even privately messaging half of the stuff that people say, right? The unaliving attempts, today's the day that he's going to be, hopefully not no longer around and things like that. So when I was a young kid, I thought that was almost on the verge of treason. Like you could be held in contempt or for, go to Gitmo for that kind of shit.
Yeah, I thought it was like illegal to just threaten to end someone's life just on the street, let alone the president.
Well, hold on. To be fair, all right. With the example that he gave was someone saying that, I think this is going to be the day that he's going to be ended. That doesn't fall under.
No, it's not a direct open threat, but
yeah, Beatrix, we need to hold him fully accountable for stuff.
To that point is, I think there needs to be a distinction made between like a direct message and like being open on Twitter, like just posting it. But that being said, as much as I hate saying this, I'm trusting the way that the legal system is moving with it right now, where I think if someone was to say, well, I hope this is the day that he gets it, is if we were to enforce that as like a death threat, I think we devalue the First Amendment more than any kind of value that we get from someone being
JB.
like, hey, you shouldn't say that.
People don't get popped in the mouth enough anymore. That's fair, Bandit. Yeah, it's like JB in the chat just said, I'm for free speech. The issue is that people don't know when to shut up. My old man told me that the one thing we all have that will get us into most trouble is our mouth. And we need to learn to curb it, obviously. So that's just it, is where we do have free speech, we also need to understand where slander and those kind of things that then can be held in a court of law as something, let alone the unaliving, threats, right? If that person then does get unalived, then you're the prime suspect. So why does it have to just stop there, basically? And especially when we're talking about a public figure like the president, right?
Yeah. Does any of us want government policing speech? I mean,
it's an interesting. I'll have to check that book out. Making
was it the UK was threatening? It was a faux threat. I mean, because good luck trying to enforce that when they were threatening to enforce UK's hate speech laws on us, and we all laughed at them because even if you were to come over here, good luck. You're gonna. We all have guns, and the best you got is maybe a billy club.
Hilarious.
Yeah, but I mean, I digress on that. But it's one of those things where it's like, all right, let me take it to a serious point. We have to say smeshmortion.
Right. Yeah. Try to.
If the powers that be have their way with bridging the First Amendment, it would make the conversations that we were air quotes able to
Apprentice.
Have about
the fact that you give a mouse a crumb and they take a freaking cookie, right? And they want a glass of milk.
That would look like free speech,
right?
Where as restricted as it was, you couldn't. I mean, Rob Knorr was he got a. It wasn't banned, but he got basically a timeout for 30, 90
Yeah, Rob
days,
Knorr,
whatever
if
it
you don't
was,
know, has his
just
channel.
because
He's
he
a good
got
guy.
COVID
America
and
with
was
Rob Knorr.
describing the symptoms that he had. He wasn't even he wasn't saying you
I
need
don't
to
know what
do
his
this,
channel
you
is.
need to
He's a
do
good
that.
guy.
He's like,
You don't know he has
hey,
a channel.
I caught it, and this is what I'm experiencing, and they struck him down.
So my thought is I don't think anyone in here is calling for direct government action and more limitation on free speech. But what I think should probably happen is that there needs to be more direct action and action in general against these people that are actually making the threats and planning this shit out online.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
we should be actually holding the laws that are in place already, not making more, but just actually enforcing the laws that we have on the books and showing people that we're not just pushed around anymore. Right? That's the thing, is you go down the road and people are speeding, they're blowing through stoplights and stop signs and all sorts of different things, and they don't care anymore. They don't give a crap about the law. And then they get pulled over and it's just like, yeah, I'll just pay the fee and go about it. And it's just like, it doesn't change anything, right? They see somebody else getting away with it and they just continue to do it again. It's like Prentice here says, free speech doesn't mean free from consequences. They can say something about the president, just be prepared for the consequences of a little chat with the men who talk to sleeves, as mentioned before. Hey, Don't Call It Art, welcome in. Appreciate you, the engagement, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. There's a big difference between a platform enforcing their policies and the government restricting speech. The left talk about dog whistles. All they do is dog whistle.
Yeah, I don't like the free from consequences argument, because that is the exact same argument that the left used against us during COVID and all that. Like, whenever there was any kind of conversation that was there was any kind of legitimate conversation that was happening, and anyone that had a position that they didn't like, well, your consequence is that you're no longer allowed to speak.
Me too, Beatrix. Me too.
So
Me too.
we shouldn't
Me
punish
No,
them for
That's not the
actual
same
crimes
argument.
they're committing.
I'm trying to be
no,
better,
no.
though.
Hold on. The freedom is the whole. Oh, well, you have freedom of speech, but not freedom of consequences. The whole, like, that argument of you have freedom of speech, but you don't have freedom from consequences. They
Yeah.
use that as justification whenever they silenced people that
But I
had.
think the way Apprentice is using it is the way that most of us on the right use it. Is you don't get to go into the hood and say the N-word and expect to not be punched in the face.
But yeah.
No,
Or capped
I'm
or
speaking.
shivved. Yeah.
Every
choice has a consequence.
To be clear, I'm speaking on the argument on its face. And
that's
I think
exactly
you're
the problem,
misinterpreting
JB.
the argument.
That
though.
right
We're
there
not
is why
saying,
I
like,
keep saying we want the fucking list.
I disagree, because
I don't care how it comes out.
Exact argument was made
We need it,
by
and we need to root out what's real and what's
during
not.
Okay.
COVID.
But are we liberals?
No, I'm not. No, you're not. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
but
that
no,
argument doesn't matter here, where we have rational sense to help us guide us towards the correct consequence for
Exactly,
the
Don't Call It
infringement
Art.
on the speech.
But towards what's right and what's wrong, you have to test your argument against what the opposition is going to put towards you. So,
but they're not the same. We're not comparing apples.
I'm not
and apples
only
here.
once if it's military
hold on.
time. If
Let
it's
me
regular
speak
time, it's
real quick,
twice a
Andy,
day,
if I
right?
can. It's not apples to apples,
I
because
can
the thing
be
is, I
right
totally understand where
twice.
you're coming from. They were basically claiming that people were spreading misinformation is how they got all these social media companies to, like, shut people down and cancel their accounts and censor them, right? Is because they go, well, you can say whatever you want, but you might lose your platform if you do that, right? Those are the quote unquote consequences. But that's not the same. We're talking about a possible threat to people's lives. Like, this is not, they would try to equivocate it like you could be putting people in danger, right? But we weren't threatening people. We were actually using true free speech about opinions, whereas these people are literally threatening to take people's lives. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I also
that's a steel
understand.
man.
I understand your overall point that
Well,
if
that's
we
not
aren't
good.
careful
Sorry to hear that,
with
Beatrix.
the your speech, freedom of speech without freedom of consequences, it can ultimately lead
Yeah, exactly,
to an
Vosh.
imbalance on free
What
speech.
what
I
books were they
understand.
burning? For
But
real though.
if I had to pick someone to represent the consequences side of that part of it, I would rather it be
Exactly,
us than them.
JB.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I agree with both of you. What I'm trying to get at is the argument on its face as a justification can be easily corrupted to do what they did during COVID.
Oh yeah, I just needed you to that point.
Yeah. All right, so we're in complete agreement on this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Right on.
I
Well, right
wasn't
on.
trying to be antagonistic. I was just trying to
No.
draw a distinction.
No, it drove the conversation. It's good.
So JB, I think it's the one that Apprentice is asking. He says, "Read it, Tater. I want to hear his answer." So what's right and what's wrong? Not sure who that's directed to. Maybe it's maybe it's Apprentice. This question that he's actually asking. So I'm not calling for violence. I only said be prepared for consequences. It may be as simple as a broken relationship. Do you disagree? I think that's the question because it does say bandit. I appreciate the direction there, Apprentice. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Right, hold on. Since it's for me, can you reread that? Because
yeah, absolutely. He says, "I'm not calling for violence. I only said to be prepared for consequences. It may be as simple as a broken relationship, so like a friend breaking the relationship. But do you disagree with that?"
No, I don't disagree with that. And I'm assuming that
so I
he's
corrected
coming
it, right?
at the argument the
I'm
same way
talking about the right
as
one
the
now.
pushback that I received before.
Sorry.
I just want to reiterate what I said earlier, where it's not where y'all are coming at the argument. It's just that justification of freedom of speech does not mean
other
freedom
streams going
from
on too, so if you
consequences
haven't seen the other
can be
streams, we'll
easily
try to do a
perverted
ghetto raid at the end if they're still going.
into censorship against us.
Isn't that a little bit of a slippery slope fallacy, though? Because any argument can be corrupted by the left, like literally any argument.
But it's a it's a might make.
Here's the thing. We can't fear doing things because of what the left might do. We have to be prepared to just bite the bullet, deal with the consequences of us pushing the consequences for your action narrative, so that we can actually start getting back to a civilized society. We need to hold people accountable for the shit they're saying. We need to hold people accountable for the actions they're doing. We need to stop beating around the bush and being so worried what the left might do. How about we just worried about?
I would like to agree, JB, but unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are misinterpreting the Bible to do the slippery slope.
Let me put it this way: someone on the left can be like, can take that argument and say, I completely agree, and based on that argument, you shouldn't say another thing because you're completely wrong, treasonous, whatever word you want to apply to it, whatever justification they want to give to it. It's not a it's not a argument that holds water, like as being a stalwart against them. Like it's just like a might makes right argument. So whoever has
But
the
you're
might can say what's right.
Which is when I
but
would say,
again, I say,
come and shut me up.
well, that, and again, I say I believe you're committing a slippery slope fallacy, because any argument can be twisted by the left to mean something else or to be bastardized from how we originally mean it, right? They do that pretty regularly. That doesn't mean that we are then somehow barred from or excused from or ought not to make those valid arguments anyway.
Well, no, hold on. What I'm getting at is arguing for making the valid arguments. What I'm saying is, when you try to push the lever to be, you should have consequences for political speech. Not, I think we've kind of gotten off the trail of, like, I think it's supposed to be more about, like, political violence, and we've gone towards political speech in general.
The original comment was about freedom of speech, and hold on,
Well, no, I'm talking about
I'll get the prompt. Hold on.
Yeah,
there needs to be a clear
the
definition
prompt,
of
not
what
the
is
comment.
allowable under free speech. As far as the topic of the president is concerned, when I was growing up, you wouldn't have dreamed of even a private messaging half of what is all over social media right now.
Yeah,
So-
that kind of goes more towards political violence, and I think we kind of went down into the weeds on just political speech in general.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
But
I'm not
if
saying
you want to
anyone should
continue on
ever
that,
be
I'm fine
censored.
with it.
I'm not saying anyone should ever be censored for any kind of speech at all. I'm just saying that if you threaten someone or joke about taking someone's life online, there should be consequences for your actions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Real quick before
But
before you jump, hold on. Before you jump in, ODJ is just about to leave. So
what the point?
hold
the
on,
main
hold
point
on.
that I'm trying to get at is, like, the freedom
on,
of
guys.
speech versus.
Hold on. So ODJ is just about to leave the panel. I just wanted to give him a second to, if you want to say anything before you leave or shout anything else or anything like that.
Sure, I will say this has been an awesome panel. Subscribe to Tater. Perhaps donate some money. That would be awesome. Keeps this alive. And good night.
I appreciate that, ODJ. Thank you for being part of the panel. Appreciate the engagement, and as always, you're welcome back. And thank you for the shout out. And you have a blessed night, man.
Have a good night.
Night.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. You're welcome to go back to it now.
But when you boil it down to just freedom of speech versus freedom from consequence,
muted next
it
time.
opens the door for
exactly. Don't call it art.
Actions being taken for having an opposite political opinion. It very easily. I mean, yeah, and I think we've treaded this ground already. I understand y'all are not liberals, but we're dealing with a left-right, a liberal versus conservative dichotomy. It's one of those things that if you
Good night, gamer.
Depending on
Appreciate
how
you, buddy.
We understand that, but what's your ought here? That is what is that it could be twisted. So what is the ought behind it then?
The ought.
Like, are you saying we ought not make those arguments? Are you saying we ought have better arguments?
That it
What ought we do if we're not going to?
Okay, sorry. That it ought be that unless you're violating social norms,
hey, Pharmacat, good to see you.
Law,
you changed your profile picture, the moose antlers.
You
Yay!
shouldn't.
It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for the engagement.
No, I think there should be social consequence.
No, hold on. What I'm getting is like It's the
Yeah,
if
Elmo,
you're
I'm starting to
not
wonder.
the saying slurs in public, that kind of thing. That should be you should get receive
Yeah, that is a
consequences
good
for
question.
that. But like basically what I'm saying is if you're just having a
I love that
political
picture,
opinion
Karma
or
Cat.
a political argument,
It's so funny.
it's
So
not one of those
cute.
things that you should be assaulted in public.
Right. Bandit, real quick, let me hopefully help sort this out a little more. Do you think when Apprentice says for freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequence, do you think he means only legal
One of your moose
consequence
hunts? How
or
many have you been on,
violence?
Pharmacat?
Because there are consequences
Jeez.
outside of the scope.
Never
Yes,
cease to amaze
there's
me.
social. You can be fired from
I
your
think the only
job
place,
for
the place that I was at,
for
there's only
saying
one,
something that,
or maybe you can do two nowadays.
Like you have
in your life.
a
Some states you can't do it more than once.
an unpopular political position.
But again, I love
and
that
it,
picture.
Becomes viral in your company. The company you work for finds out about it.
Yeah,
To a degree,
Nice,
I think,
Cat. That's
I
awesome.
think some examples of that have been justified.
That's awesome.
Some of those have not been justified.
Me too. Don't call it art. Me
There's
too.
also like social consequence and shaming, and then there's
So I'm not against shaming, but it's one of those things that like when it comes to like shaming as a consequence in today's society is like a slap on the wrist. Where I mean, how many people today
They weren't even in the States
in today's
Jeez.
society, especially
Just
online,
keep rubbing that in,
they
don't
shame,
you?
like actually face shame. They take it in stride
that's
and
awesome.
move on to the next thing.
Until President Trump took over office again, if you tried to actually shame someone on Facebook and mock them, you would get insta-banned by the ban hammer. Like now you can mock people and tell them they're retarded online, but that didn't used to be the case.
Well, I think that kind of proves my point. Is you tried to shame them and you would get banned. That's the consequence.
Right.
Oh, Cat,
but now we're living in a time where that consequence, that's not a consequence
Good to see you.
on me. That's a consequence because I tried to use my free speech and was banned. Right. That's what we're trying to get away from. We're trying to get towards where you can still use your free speech and not have the ban. But if you are going to threaten or harm someone or do something stupid, you should be socially shamed for the stupid, but only have legal or any kind of ramification in that way if you are doing something illegal.
But I could see it easily being one of those things that if the political winds shifted the other way, that we would go back to that way. And so it's one of those things that I think we should evaluate that as an action in the event that the political winds shift the other way. Because do we want to go full? Do we? Look.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Whoever was about to speak, go ahead.
I just got the one was against someone was saying earlier that certain words should have also consequences from the government, not just reactions from others. The problem with that is the UNCF is a popular charity. What's it stand for?
Are you talking about UNICEF?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
United Negro College Fund.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
That's actually a bad word now because they change the language constantly. So whether you're sticking by the language that is allowed or not, you can't go by that. If you're threatening somebody, a physical threat or a threat on their life, that is something that should be consequential. When you're just saying a word, that word was perfectly fine years ago.
Right. Right.
I'm not sure who was saying, but
I think we were specifically saying we don't think words should be banned.
Right. It's just
no word.
It's the fact that when I was a young kid, young sprout, they used to say, or at least I was under the assumption that you'd get in serious trouble if you were to basically make a threat on the president's life, for example. That was
a text message to a friend.
Right, exactly. You didn't even have to be out and out about it. Your private messaging, you were worried about, now it's just a known thing that they're watching your every move. But back in the day, you were worried that they were going to see you say that because, there was going to be consequences. And that's, I think, what we were talking about there.
All right.
But your friend could just report
Holy
that.
shit.
And then there would be like,
Can't even say the brown. Like, what
I would never do this, but like, say I was going to.
Oh, you're good,
like
Homestead.
I said
I appreciate
to a friend in a text message, I'm going to off you tonight.
Got lost in the prattle. Yeah, I know it's gotten
They
kind of off
show
base
that
tonight,
to
but
police.
appreciate the engagement.
I
Homestead.
threatened them. That's a physical threat.
Well, depending on the state you're in and the laws they're in, not quite. That's not actionable in many states, but
All right. With what he just said, I'm not fully on board with this, but it does kind of raise the question: is the government, the FBI, all that kind of stuff, like letting certain stuff slide because we've gone 20, 30 years of everyone believing in Big Brother?
Thank
that,
you
like,
for that service,
you
JB.
you can't scratch your
I
butt
can't tell you
without
how much it
Big
means
Brother
to us.
seeing it, and so they're letting so much stuff slide so that you get the false idea that they're not seeing what you're doing.
Fair enough.
I would
Don't
think
call
that
it art. Fair enough.
A lot of things people do day to day doesn't bother.
You got me.
Like even illegal stuff doesn't bother the majority of people, so they leave it alone. I would think they try to use it as blackmail eventually, though, if you get into some type of power.
Well, there's also like right now I'm sure that it's a lot of AI searching for things. So they're looking for key phrases mixed with key words mixed with like a list of things to check off before it even pops into an FBI database's server.
Mr. B, you mean kind of like YouTube, where if you say a certain word, it'll block your message or do something.
Yeah.
But if you misspell it purposely, they will. It just goes by the AI server.
Sometimes, but like I mean more that like their AI is probably looking for.
Yeah, we're a bunch of punny guys
saying the certain words in a
key phrases
way. Yeah, key phrases before it'll activate that they should be looking at you.
Yeah,
but also Facebook and YouTube, they're not looking at it from a security or a legal standpoint. Well, more than likely not a legal standpoint. What they're looking at it from is an advertising standpoint. They don't want to be seen as being the ones exchanging dollars for so that you can say slurs and mean things online. And so that's more why they stop you from sending a super chat that has a mean word in it versus because you could send a super chat that threatens whoever's life, but if you word it a certain way to that kind of stuff, like you're more likely for it to be banned because it has a no word than it does for the actual content of the message.
Yeah.
But
It's like
what is a no-no
I
word?
might delete that dude would be fine, but I might delete that N word would definitely get you banned.
Hold on, sorry.
What,
I was
what,
saying
what-
that like
Elmo, to clarify, no words is toss. Like, and no, we're not going to list off what toss is because we respect the channel. But it's
I
like,
understand.
Yeah, I was.
I'm just, who makes the list though? Because some of the words were perfectly fine
well,
20 years
that's
ago.
Right.
That's the problem. Is right now it's a bunch of
Vosh,
the
yeah,
people
right.
who are trying to block these words and make the assumption that they're bad are a bunch of humanist
Yeah, they
secularists.
don't. Nope.
And their wave of what is good and bad changes based on the mood.
Yeah, and to that point, they don't even tell you what. Well, there's a legitimate reason for why they don't tell you the no words because then all you had to do is, oh, this is the no word I want to say. These are the versions of the no word that I can't say. Oh, this is a way that I can say that no word that doesn't violate it. So there is a reason for not listing every specific way of it, but it also goes to where it's like they'll flag or ban or a video because it doesn't violate actual terms of service. It's just like what's the not shadow banning's 2016, but what's the demonetize and that kind of shit. If you cover content that they don't like hell, Potato's video's probably been thrown to the bottom of the algorithm because we've probably covered topics that they don't want us to cover.
Possibly. I do fairly decently on the algorithm, to be completely honest. For a newbie with very few subscribers, our open panels get actually decent amount of views. Probably just from my viewer base, but still, I enjoy them. Anyway, sorry.
Well, I'm just saying, so far as like how much YouTube pushes it in the algorithm.
Oh yeah. No, I get you for sure.
Actually, Tater, I got to dig you up.
Did you? It's not terribly surprising. I just mean like I get decent views on I'm brand new, haven't really been doing this for very long, and I have average about 100 views on the open panels. So it's doing decently for what it is. But yeah, I'm not terribly surprised that it's trying to bury me as fast as it can.
I see.
Yeah, for the people that don't, for the people who don't create content, they may not understand that for a fairly new channel, that's actually quite impressive.
Yeah.
And I think the thing also is, I think these open panels are harder for it to figure out.
Yeah, it is.
There's
Yeah.
so much going on inside of it.
Yep.
Especially one like this where it's we're moving from topic to topic where like because I remember back in the Twitch days where it was like a whole panel would be devoted only to one topic, at most 3 topics, where we've gone we've probably covered the spectrum of issues.
Oh yeah,
we've
been all over the place for sure. What was that?
My first friend online was Tom from MySpace.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
We all got assigned Tom.
You
know what? I was a friggin' boomer because from the start of MySpace, I had it and I'm like, I was trying so hard to try to figure out who the hell Tom was. Like, do you know Tom? Because he resembles someone I know, but I know that ain't the guy that I think it is.
Fair.
All I know is he defriended me, so I don't know.
Fair enough. Well, we've been kind of going for a little bit longer than I normally do. I just wanted to give opportunity for anybody that needs to maybe dip out if they need to, a chance to say their piece if they wanted to or anything like that. I do probably should wrap up my stream before too much longer. Was there anything else that we wanted to say on the subject currently?
I remember YouTube when it was bum fights, everything like that. It was like the Wild West.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
I remember.
You know,
It's just cat videos.
Yeah, there was some wild stuff. I mean, it's still wild stuff, but there was some weird stuff that it started with for sure. So nobody knew what
I
to do.
watched
Shit, back when
Demolition Ranch's first video, and I watched his last video.
What is YouTube a publisher or is it a platform?
It's
It needs to
considered
just
a
be a
platform
yeah,
because they aren't allowed to directly edit anything. If they start directly editing anything, they would then be considered a publisher, and then they would have to abide by a different set of guidelines.
Oh, interesting.
But aren't you editing by deleting?
That is the thing they're trying to sue about.
Ooh, snap. Interesting.
but all right. So that runs into a difficult dichotomy because if they are deemed a publisher, that gives them fair game to go about editing everything that. Well, I mean,
But it also
good
leaves
luck
them
trying to
open.
edit everything that they put on
They
there.
would then
would
be
just,
able to directly infringe upon your free speech, not then limit it severely. They would be able to edit and directly say what you can and cannot post.
Right.
Well, that would be the second order effects. The third order effects is YouTube would no longer exist as a platform, or as they would no longer exist as an entity because no one would use them.
Possible.
But yeah, because you could use hell. Friggin' Rumble would rise to the top. They'd be the cream of the crop.
Cream
Doing
rising to the top. There it is. Oh yeah,
brother.
Cream rises to the top.
Because they're not doing what they're not even doing remotely. I think that might be their long play is waiting for that specific order of events to take place, and then Rumble becomes it'll be 5 years down the road, and everyone is looking at YouTube the way we look at MySpace.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not sure why MySpace closed. I think YouTube was kind of freer at that point.
Maybe
Gave you
there was there was still the guidelines and rules. I think it was more of people just got away with it more.
I think there was there was something in the actual code that was more likely to connect you with people that you actually knew. Where MySpace, you had a lot of freedom on your page. Where I remember. You could put a fucking song on your page. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you did that if you tried to remotely approach just that aspect on Facebook, you get so many friggin' DMCA claims and all that kind of shit. Like, and hell, that might have been part of it where it was like, the music industry probably was looking at them with a legal double barrel shotgun.
Well, that
Bandit.
starts back at the Metallica suing Napster phases.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because that was right around the same time. So I don't know. I think it was just it probably boils down to like the moms, like all they're trying to keep in touch with family all across the country in the days when like you had to pay long distance, for a phone call. Like what we're doing right now would you'd never think of that.
God, you're making me feel old.
I know, right? This whole panel's
I
fairly
remember when the phone was attached to a cord to the wall.
right. I remember the rotary
when
phone.
when you had to stick your finger in a hole.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
spin it around to a certain extent. Yeah.
Did it 4, did it 5.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Bandit, and actually Tater, I noticed a lot of 1980 wrestling references.
Yeah, I think we're all from the 80s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Snap into a Slim Jim. Anyway.
All right, I'm gonna go. God bless
I'm gonna bow
everybody.
out for tonight, but go ahead.
Have a good night.
Elmo, did
Have
you
a
have
good night.
anything
Thank
you
you for
wanted
coming
to
in,
shout
Elmo.
out before you go? Is there anything you wanted
What?
to shout out?
Not necessarily. Oh wait, who are you talking to?
Either one of
Elmo.
you, but Elmo, you can go ahead and go first since
You
you
go.
started first.
No,
We'll
let her
Elmo. Fair enough.
No, you're fine.
Jay-
Go ahead, Elmo.
All right, Elmo. do you have anything to shout out?
Potato?
Appreciate it.
I just want to shout out Potato, and Homestead's always been awesome to me. Mr. B, he's cool as heck, and Bandit's cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that shout out for sure. And it's always a pleasure having you on the panel. You're always welcome back. And was there anything else you wanted to say?
God bless, and I hope everybody has a great night.
Right on. God bless, brother, and you have a good night. And then Jay, you have the floor. Whatever you'd like to say.
Oh, yep. Just thanks for letting me participate. It was my first time on, and I enjoyed it. Enjoyed the conversation, and I hope to be back again. But I do want to maybe the next time, or if you have it coming up again, I do want to hit that aphantasia topic.
Sure. Yeah. We I try to recycle things, and so I don't always do really well about recycling. So if you end up on the panel, just remind me, and we'll definitely hit on it for sure because it's an interesting one. You're always welcome back.
I'd like to see what everybody's take is.
Yeah.
Well, just real quick, if you have 90 seconds, what is aphantasia? Because I'm drawing a complete blank on that.
It's basically if you can see pictures when you read things. We'll discuss it in length so that we don't hold her up. But
Okay, no.
I mean, if we want to hit it, I'll stay on. But if we're not gonna, if we're trying to wrap it up, then I'll go.
Yeah, I am trying to wrap up before too much longer.
Yeah.
So I would like to hit on it at an actual in depth where we have a decent amount of people. But Bandit is basically if you can see when you're reading a book, can you see that what's happening, or do you just read it and you see words in your mind? That's basically the difference.
Picture your
between
imagination.
Well,
Or a good example is if you close your eyes and I say, picture an apple. Can you actually physically see the apple in your mind's eye? And is it red? Is it green? Can you change the color? Is it like, what can you picture? That's basically the gist of it. Or can you picture something or picture nothing?
Right.
Well, the one thing that I want to leave you with before you leave is if you could look up, like, bring it to the next time the discussion comes up. If you could find if there's any kind of analogy with or like not analogy, but like statistics that can compare that
Luke,
to the
can.
people that don't have an inner monologue.
Oh yeah, we're going to bring that up too.
Yeah, that'll be we'll discuss it in depth when we have another panel on it.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll definitely bring it back up, and I'll try to alert everybody about it so that we have a little bit of notice to it, so we can get involved with it. But yeah, Jay, I appreciate you being here. Always like newcomers into the panels. A lot of the people that we have on the panels are return people, which is always awesome. But I like newcomers, so you're always welcome back. Appreciate the engagement and the content. And was there anything else you wanted to share before you left?
No, you guys have a good night.
All right. God bless, and you have a good night.
You too.
Thanks. All right. So, Bandit, we'll go ahead and give you the floor for a minute. Is there anything you wanted to shout out?
No, I just want to thank you for letting me on here, and I know from time to time I take up a lot of the airspace. But I appreciate y'all letting me do that. Hopefully it's productive and not just me prattling along.
I think we keep it going fairly decently. The panel is usually pretty good about keeping people on track. So no, I appreciate the engagement, brother. And like I said, if you need anything, let me know. And as always, you're welcome back. And God bless you, brother.
God bless. God is king.
Yeah, God is. Yep, Christ is king for sure. Have a good night, man.
Yeah, have a good night.
All right, Leia, you got the floor for a minute, so go ahead and shout your channel out and let people know where they can find you.
Well, I think probably most people know, but I do have a channel by my same name, Leah Bovia. Make sure you've liked and subscribed the video, share with a friend, makes you not goo, and contribute to the grift if you can.
Appreciate that. Yeah, if you guys don't know, Leia Bovia on YouTube. If there's any mods in the chat, drop the channel link if you can. And as always, you're welcome back. Appreciate the conversations always. And God bless you. Have a good night.
Thank you. I always have a good time as well. God bless.
Awesome.
Have a good night.
Thank you. All right, and B, of course, as always, you got the floor, my man.
Yes, sir. I always just want to thank Tater for providing the panel, and the channel is always awesome. Subscribe to it, and he does have a Venmo and a Cash App. If you'd like to give him a little something for his time, he'd appreciate that.
Yes.
My personal channels, I have King Crambler's AI Jambles, where I have some music just jamming on there, and I have the AI Psalms for the Everyday Man, where I have turned the Psalms of the Bible back into a musical format, and I have all 150 up and running on YouTube right now.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, if you don't know about those, and if you haven't checked them out, definitely go check those out. Give them some engagement and some love. Was there anything else you wanted to say?
That was it, brother. You have
Awesome.
a good night.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the engagement, and you have yourself a blessed night.
Yes, sir. Christ is king.
Christ is king. All right, guys. And so that brings us to the end of our discussion. So I would like to put it out there. So obviously these open panel discussions are more for the dialectical conversations where we just talk about things and discuss. But I would like to get more into debates, right? Some more heated style blood sports or something similar to that. Maybe not necessarily blood sports, but some actual disagreements. So if you guys in the chat want to do a debate, if anybody knows of anybody that would like to do a debate, there is the Tyler debate, Fast Friday debates. We haven't had one in a minute. Probably give him some love there, but I would like to start getting some debates on my channel as well. But with that being said, please leave your comments in the comment section below after the stream ends. It does help the algorithm a great deal. And again, as always, please take care of yourselves out there, right? Remember those Second Amendment rights within the United States. Your response time will always be faster than that of the police. I want to keep you all around. Outside of the United States, I want to keep you around too, but your rights seem to be disappearing like they're going out of style, and we need to do something about that. So I appreciate everybody being here. Of course, you can be anywhere else in the world, but you've been here with me, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. As far as anybody else, if anybody would like to go to another channel, Rattlesnake TV, it looks like is still live. I can't necessarily do a raid because I don't have enough people. And of course, it just ended like 15 minutes ago. So they're not live anymore. Let me see. Is there anybody else that's live? It says the Crucible is live. Yeah, the Crucible's live. So he's doing his wrap up after the stream, talking with people. If you'd like to go join that, let me get the link for that into the chat so you guys can do a ghetto raid over to there if you would like to. And if you do, appreciate a shout out to him that I sent you to him. Not like it's gonna really matter, but anyway, long story short, appreciate you guys. Love all of you. Seriously, I want you all to be taken care of. Christ is God, the King of Kings, and always will be. And the potato signing off. Turn up the music, maybe. Come on, play.
Crawling under my skin, every thought I bury just comes alive again. The mirror's cracked, but it's showing me clear I'm not the same one who started here. I can't tell if I'm breaking or just being remade. All the light I had's been stripped away. I'm becoming feels like fate's mistake. I'm becoming